Okay. Oh, the classic moment of is everything in the stream working? It's a classic story. It's a classic story. Is the stream working? Who knows? The most spontaneous stream to ever exist. And we got 4 people watching. Oh yeah. Can you guys hear me? Please let me know. Ah, hello. Hello, hello, hello. What's up, Flamehawk? What's up, Side Note? Welcome. What's up, Caleb was here. 23 of you. Wow. Great. This is awesome. Welcome to the stream, y'all. This is seriously like the most spontaneous stream ever, I think. I had some time. I was like, yeah, I should probably do this right now. I should probably just I should probably just stream because I've been wanting to do this. Anyway, um if you see the title, if you see the title of the video stream, you'll see what the subject matter is. So I'm in Tiermaker right now, and I've pulled up my list, my Massacards roll tier list thing, and there was someone, in the Discord a while back that made a tier list on like Massacards rolls based off of how cool I think they look, and that's great. And it really wanted me to like I don't it really wanted me. It really encouraged me to make another tier list because like that seems like such a cool idea. I wanted to make a tier list and just any excuse to talk about the art that I made for this game is good. Hey, what's up TM Gaming? Hey, what's up Surreal Math? That's a lot of rolls. Yup, it's all 200 of them. So that's what this stream is going to be. Um, at the very least, this will just provide trivia to the wiki page for Massacards because I'm going to talk about like how I made some of these icons and like what some of them mean or like the history that they have, things like that. Um, and I'll go in order. Hey, what's up, Sai? Nice to see ya. I'm just gonna go in order. I mean, this is alphabetical order, I guess, because that's the automatic thing that the tier maker puts them in. These are my tiers, and I will add more if I have to. My favorites, that is my favorites. Oh yes, that's Metaton reference. Mid is mid. It could be better means like I just feel like I could maybe remake the role art and then it would be better. I don't know. And I don't like it. I don't think there will be many and I don't like it, but I put it there just in case. Gonna get some lore. Oh yeah, absolutely. Get the wiki page into the other tab. No, we're not going to be talking about I'm not going to delve into the lore. This is all just about the art. Everything you need to know is right here on screen. You'll be able to see it. I'll be talking about it. And those of you who are editing the wiki, you can listen to this. All of them will be top tier. No. This is my opinion. This is like my opinion on my artwork that I've done. So, yeah. We're going to start. We're going to get started. You do games with a lot in them? Yeah, that's kind of my thing, Jaro Soup. That is kind of my thing. I like to make games that are really big and infinitely replayable. Hey, what's up, Noah Nogler? Nice to see ya. Let's start. Let's get started. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day. So, starting off, we have Roll 22. And Roll 22 is a special case because this is the only roll that you guys don't know what it looks like yet. Um, so this will be interesting because I'm going to rank it. I know what it looks like. because I made it, obviously. But you guys don't know what it looks like, so I'm going to rank it as mid. Talk about lack of information, but I'm ranking it as mid. Um, that's really all the information that I can give on this role icon, but like, yeah, I don't think it's the best, but I don't think it's the worst either. There's a Massacards wiki. Yeah, it's a fan made. I believe Bizarre Blitz is the spearhead of the whole operation there. I highly recommend checking it out. I'm pretty sure it's pinned in the Discord somewhere. Hey, what's up, Dan Backslide? Welcome to the stream. So yeah, mystery character 22. You don't know what it looks like. Lol, it's in mid. Next up is the Acolyte. So Acolyte is I like the pretty rock. I like drawing pretty geometric shapes. And one of my favorite things to do is put damage on otherwise pristine things. So you can see that like there's a little bit of a crack and like the shards of the gem have like broken out. Because like otherwise this roll art would be really boring. You know, like if it was just the gem without the crack in there, it would be a pretty uninteresting thing. Um so like I really like pretty rocks. I like the damage. I would put this in oh yes. I think this is oh yes for me. But that's for me. Where would you rank the 22 writing? Oh, that's I don't like it. If I were to rank this icon right here, the 22 exclamation mark question mark, I would put it in I don't like it because it doesn't follow the format that the rest of them do. Up next, this is the Accomplice. I love how I walk into a stream and immediately set 22 in mid. Yeah, we're talking about art. We're not talking about content. So if you want me to make that, we'll do that in a different stream. This is the Accomplice, and this is probably one of the most complex role icons that there is. There's a lot going on in this one. If you guys didn't know, all of these pie slices are meant to represent the different alignments. And the Accomplice's whole deal is that they can align with whoever they want. So it makes sense that their role icon and their alignment icon, the true neutral icon, are very similar. Like the true neutral icon is just a smaller version of the Accomplice's icon. Oh yeah, acquaintance. Ahaha. Sorry. Sometimes, okay, there's lore here, I guess. Sometimes I slip into the old names that I had for all of these roles before I like settled on the final names. So obviously, Accomplice was the acquaintance beforehand. But I changed it to acquaintance because I like the word more. And also because accomplice, I'm pretty sure, is in deception, murder in Hong Kong, and I didn't want to use that terminology. Anyway, yeah, really complex role art here. So we got like, yeah, we have the unknown alignment is the question mark here. This like really rotting looking slice is undead, and then there's the innocent and murderous and infected and neutral and none, and then there's a blank slice. Oh, hey, speaking of Bizarre Blitz, there they are. I was just talking about the wiki. What's up, Bizarre Blitz? Creator of Massacards forgets his own roles. I have been making this game for 10 years. And all of these roles have had multiple names for the most part. So forgive me if I accidentally call the bio weapon the melter, okay? I did that in a stream too. I did that sometime. 22 is so lore rich, it has to be last. No, I think it's mid. What is it? Acquaintance revealed? We won? Were you guys trying to piece together all of the different slices? That's funny. I mean, I just told you, I guess. Yeah, there is no Dark Innocent slice. because I wanted there to be a blank slice for like asymmetry sake, I guess. And I don't know how I would have done a Dark Innocent one. I don't know. I just chose to I just chose to leave that one out, so there is no Dark Innocent slice, but the rest of them are filled in. Like, yeah, the pizza with the bite taken out of it, that's hungry, you know? Like, it just makes sense. I really like this roll art. I think it's one of my most creative. I'm putting it in my favorites. I really like it. The bioweapon is just a furnace from Minecraft. I mean, no, but also I can understand what you're saying. I'm not sure what any of these are, but they look pretty cool. These are characters from my game Massacards, the killer hidden role game. Yeah, that you can play as 200 unique characters. So there you go. These are all the characters that I've spent 10 years making. If you want more information, there's playlists on my channel all about them. You can go right on in. And I know I need to make more videos on these. I know I do. And I'll do that eventually. I thought the blank slide was none, honestly. Oh, no, no. The none is the one with the line through it. It's that one. Because, like, you know, the none alignment symbol is like the no symbol. You know, it has the circle with the line through it. Yeah, so that one's none. Why did I think of the bite of 87 just now? Was that the bite of 87? Because hungry? Because biting? Take a bite out of the pizza? Pizza time? I bet that's why. Moving on. Next up is actor. Actor is going to have to be it could be better. So one thing that I don't like about the actor as much is, I don't know, like the mask feels just a little bit too small. Like it doesn't fill the space as much as it should. Like it doesn't get as close to the edges of the box as it could. And also, like, you know, I don't know, it's kind of hard to portray like a comedy mask, which is like an irregular thing, at that angle. I don't know. Like I feel like it could be better. But like I don't know. I don't know how I would make it better, I guess. I mean, I like it. I like how it turned out. I just think that it could be better, but I don't know how it could be better. Like maybe add like a ribbon behind it or something, like actor, but then like have the ribbon behind it so, you know, it looks like, oh, it's whatever. Like I'm not going to change any of these now. I'm not going to change any of these roles or their role arts now. They're all done. The game is done. Like I don't need to change them anymore, but if I were to, I would definitely maybe do something more with the actor role. Will you make a compilation of all the roles? If you wanted me to, I could just stitch all 200 videos together, or all 199 videos together, I should say, into one like 3-hour epic or whatever you wanted. I don't know. That might not be the most fun watching experience. Someone make a Freddy Fazbear roll. Definitely already been done. I remember that from the fan made rules doc. That's definitely real. The actor mask looks high. No, he's just squinting a little bit. He's just squinting. It's not as geometric. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you know, you're right. You're so right. Guy rocket tram. Yeah. Like it's an irregular shape. It doesn't have the sharpness to it. And that's because it's meant to be a face, you know, and that's really bizarre. The witness being roll 25 still bothers me. There's, you know, there's history there. There's a reason. I mean, they were the 25th role to be created way before Massacards was even in its current state. So I'm sorry it bothers you, but I think it's really good for the history. Y'all want a 3-hour video on like all of the Massacards roles in a row? That'd be a good April Fool's video or something along those lines. Gangle? I know what Gangle is. Oh yeah, that's that's the Amazing Digital Circus. I'm like, what's Gangle? And I immediately thought, oh, Mangle, Five Nights at Freddy's, because like people are talking about Five Nights at Freddy's in my chat. Y'all are taking me down all of the fandom trains today. Y'all, okay. Maybe I will have to make an entire 3 hour epic of all the roll videos together. I'll think about it. If I have spare time, I will. Okay. But moving on. Up next is Agent. Agent definitely could be better. And I think it's better than Actor. Oh, wait. I think it's better than Actor, but I do think that Agent could be better. There could definitely be more detail work there. Um, like portraying light in this sense is a little bit difficult, but like I don't know, just having like more detail on the flashlight itself, like have the button have 3 dimensions or something like that. Um, yeah, I just think it could be better. It could have more detail on it. But I still think that it is very accurate to the role. I think it portrays exactly what it needs to, which is, the whole goal of all of these role icons. Um, this role art in particular has changed probably more than any other character because originally, like, they were called the Sentinel, and the Sentinel had like a Roman helmet as their icon. So like it's gone all the way from Roman helmet to flashlight. So a bit of a difference there. A fun video idea that could follow the theme of a roll comp could just be a wiki review. uh, I don't want to critique the wiki. I think that the wiki is really impressive. I just think, I'm providing more for the wiki. I can talk more about this forever. Hey, what's up, one brick at a time? Hey, what's up, Rude Quartz? Glad you all could be here. Alchemist. Alchemist is one of my favorites. I would say it's above. It's above the yeah, it's above Acquaintance, for sure. Um, the reason I like Alchemist so much is like the idea of liquid in a confined glass space, and you can see the liquid, you can see the level of the liquid right here, and then the rest of it is empty. Like, I like that. I don't know, it's such a fun pixel art technique when you invert the lines that mark the depth of the syringe. Like, you have the darkness where the liquid is, but then up where the liquid isn't, the lines are not dark. They're the opposite of that. And it's like really pointy. I don't know. And I don't have like a fear of syringes or anything like that, but like I don't know. I just think it's a pretty good looking syringe. It's like a really good like chunky syringe like that could totally inject you with something venomous or poisonous even. You're a brewer, Harry. uh, up okay. Up next is the Anomaly. And Anomaly is interesting because Anomaly is one of two question mark icon roles. So there's the Anomaly and then there's the Interrogator down here. We'll get to the Interrogator later. But of the two, the reason like the Interrogator one is at a slant is because it's meant to be like, I'm questioning you, I'm throwing my question at you. But the Anomaly is more like, oh, it's a mystery. Like the question mark is more curvy. It's like, oh, what is that? um, but yeah, so I like the Anomalies question mark way better than the Interrogators question mark. I would put it in oh yes. I think it's an oh yes one for sure. Syringes from an aesthetic angle look really cool. Oh yeah, absolutely. SCP Massacre. Oh no. I can imagine an SCP article or something like that. That'd be something. I'm not gonna say anything else. Otherwise, I'll will it into existence. What decides the colors for all of the roles? I'm going to tell you this story. You're going to love this. So, early on, like, look at Killer. It's like primary red, and then like Private Eye, primary blue. You know, like all of the early roles, they have like really bright and like solid known colors. But then the further you go, the more obscure the colors get. And there's like 20 different reds in here. Yeah, we got this, red, 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 red. You know, it's there's so many reds. There came to a point. There came to a point in Massacard's development where I used a chart, like a chart of the color spectrum, and I would put points on the chart to represent colors that had already been used in Massacards, and I was trying to pick points on that graph that were furthest away from all of the other colors just to get like distinct colors in here because after 200 or even after like 100 it's like, oh no, I'm running out of colors. And I kind of did. I mean, look at how close this and this are. Like these two colors here, like they're very similar, you know. Oh no, I just took that out of order, didn't I? Lol. um but yeah, like the like I ran out of colors eventually. I mean, I still have more colors that I could use, but now they're all going to be very similar to at least one of the other ones. So mm, that's how the colors were picked. But I would always try to pick colors that I felt were fitting when it was an object. So for example, like the gravestone is gray, you know, that kind of makes sense. But then, you know, further down the line we have the mindless who has a pink chest. It doesn't make any sense. So like I did kind of lose that one as well. I want to see the chart. I'm sorry. I can't pull up the chart now, but maybe I'll send a screenshot or something in the Discord of the chart just so you can see how silly it is. Demon who has the hex code of 666666. I don't think they do. It'd be really coincidental if they did because I did not. I did not do that. I frequent a naming colors website and I actually did name a few colors after some of these roles. Holy crap, that's awesome. Thank you. Okay, I I get it. Yeah, rats aren't red. I understand. Blood isn't purple. I get it. Sometimes it's more about the vibe than it is about realism. Like Maniac. Like teeth aren't purple, obviously, but isn't that such a good color for that icon? Anyway, Antagonizer definitely could be better. It definitely is just five arrows drawn to the left. It's not the best. It's not the best out there. There isn't much to say there either. Like, it hasn't really changed throughout its history, and the color has no meaning. It's just five arrows pointing to the left. Like, I don't know, I could have made the arrows fancier, I guess, but I feel like that doesn't fit the vibe. That's why I drew multiple arrows. It's like this person, this person, this person is evil. This person kill this person. Blah blah blah. Like I need this person dead to win the game. I am telling you over and over. Like that was the vibe I was going for. So I kind of intentionally made it look sketchy rather than like proper. Um but it kind of results in just like a little bit lackluster. Demon's color is actually 666666. If it wasn't intentional, then this game is actually haunted. No way. Is Demon's color actually 666666? That is so cool if true. Wow. Like I didn't intend that. I just picked a gray. I picked a gray, dude, cuz I'm like, "Oh, yeah, demon has gray horns." Like, yeah, that makes sense. Wow. That is crazy if true. Wow. I'm impressed with my past self. I made that icon so long ago. Wow. I like it because the arrows look hectically drawn. Oh, yes. Yeah, that is the vibe. Oh, it's not quite. But it is 666. It does start with 666. Well, okay. Good enough for me. I like that the devil's number shows up in there for the demon. Very silly and coincidental, though, because I really did not intend for that. Anyway, uh, um, uh, moving on. Oh no. You see, I don't like the little pointy things. I kind of don't like the little pointy things. I don't know. I just apprentice apprentice just has like the weird pointy things on the badge. There's two badge icons and they have like the same star on them. Um so like yeah, there's this one and then there's this one down here, Constable. They have like a very similar star pattern on them. So there's like two badge icons, but I don't know, I like the simple badge more, I guess. And I don't really like how like the square bits at the top, they kind of look like Shrek ears. But you know what? Like it's definitely it's the shape. It's the correct shape of like a badge. I don't know. I kind of want to put it here actually. I just found out this stream started and now Demon's roll color is apparently 666. It's really close apparently. Your past self barely burnt it, but it's still cooked. I like that. Archangel. Archangel was actually really hard to make a an icon for because I had already made the Blessed, and the Blessed used a halo, or the Blessed, however you want to pronounce it. I say Blessed because like the Blessed sounds better in my head. Um, like Blessed already uses a halo, but then I had to make one for Archangel. I'm like, oh, it makes sense for it to be a halo, but I don't want it to be too similar to the Blesseds. So I did a top-down view halo with like these really like I don't know fancier spikes on it, and stuff. And like I don't like it's definitely more simple than the Blesseds. It doesn't have any sparkles or anything like that, but I kind of like it I kind of like it as a symbol more than like an object. Like this halo is meant to be an object, but this is meant to be like a symbol, and I like the symbol. I think it's mid. I'd put that in mid. Oh, this one I really like. I like Architect a lot, actually. I like the perspective on Architect, and I like how it looks like a crispy scroll, and it's like it rolls up. Like I have the plans for this old mansion, and you can just imagine the like the paper sound that it's like old crinkly like because it's crispy. It's got the band around it. It crinkles up in on itself, and it has like the humidity damage that it flays out a little bit like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I like it. I'd put it like I'd actually put it at the top of oh yes. Yeah, I think so. um Next, yeah, we have Archivist. For those that didn't piece this together, I'm a pretty big Inscription fan, and the word archivist is such a cool word. And I had a role idea that like fit the archivist name, and I'm like, oh man, it's just like Inscription. I don't know. It's just like Inscription, so I put Inscription in the game. Not really. It's just the word archivist, but that's the reference of the name. But the lore and stuff is obviously completely different from the Inscription archivist. But I really like how this roll art turned out. This is also one of a couple glasses roll icons. Where's Protector? This is Protector down here. Protector has like the silhouette of sunglasses. Meanwhile, these are like more academic or like actual reading glasses, and like they have a really cool perspective, and they have like the shine on them instead of being completely filled in like the protectors is, and it has like a little crack in it too. I like that. I might put that one actually in my favorites. It might be right here. Yeah, I really like how it turned out. I think it turned out really well. I like the light reflection. Yeah, yeah, me too. I had no idea it was pronounced like that. I thought it was archivist. No, that I think some people do pronounce it that way though, like archivist, archivist. I don't know, maybe it's a regional thing because I don't know. I've always pronounced it archivist. Um Sir on the screen, are you Mr. Massacre? Yeah, that's me. My real name is Luke though. You can call me Luke. Up next, arsonist. Arsonist could be better, but it's at like the top of could be better. Fire is hard. Fire is hard to draw. Did you know that? Fire and hands. Oh boy, I definitely didn't have to draw a hand somewhere in here. Oh boy. Fire and hands are very difficult to draw, but fire, man, fire is difficult to draw. I don't know. I feel like it could be better because I've seen people draw like pictures of fire in pixel art, and I'm just like, oh yeah, like that looks so good, and like mine is like okay, but it definitely can be better. um. Oh yes, the aspirant. Aspirant might be my first. I don't like it, but here's the reason. Um, aspirant. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, aspire is actually a real type of knife or like a real type of blade. And so like this role is like a double reference. So like they they are aspiring, they aspire to be doing something or like someone else, but also they wield an aspire, which is a type of knife. So I try to recreate that type of knife in the pixel art, but because aspires are such a weird shape, it's really hard to draw it. And I don't know, it kind of just looks like a silver fang blade from Lego Ninjago now. Like it has a really weird shape. I don't know. It's really weird, and it's a just a really janky shape, and it doesn't translate that well into pixel art. So I don't really like how this one looks as much. Is it aspirant or aspirant? It's aspirant. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So so now you're gonna tell me it's pronounced aspirant instead of inspirant? I think we're being gaslit. Once again, it could be a regional thing. It's spelt like with an A, isn't it? I thought it was spelt with an A. That's why I say aspirant. Like I don't say aspirant like ant. I don't say ant. I say ant. I don't know. I think it looks good. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just think translating an aspire knife is really hard. Okay, moving on. Assassin. Oh, yeah. I like Assassin. Assassin is definitely like. Assassin is one of the classic ones. Like, Assassin is like a classic role art that I did. For a lot of the really early ones, and I'll tell you about this now. For things like the killer, like this is the killers here, and the private eye, I used to have like way scaled up artwork for them when in like the earlier versions of Massacards, like before I decided I wanted to do a pixel art aesthetic. And so for some of these, I just took those high res images that I made and I pixelated them and added more details or like smoothed out the lines or whatever it was, and made them pixely, you know? And Assassin is one of those. It's just it's a classic. It's like, oh yeah, you know it's the assassin because it has the hole in the blade. It's so cool, you know? Like I don't know, I really like it. It's a classic, and the blood splatters that show up in a lot of these, I like that detail. I like the detail of like, oh yeah, like there's blood splatters, pixels, but they're all weird colors, so it in the realm of murderous roles, good knives are critical for coolness. I absolutely agree. There are so many knives, yes, but the small addition of the hole in the blade, it makes it so it could have been okay into have been unbelievably cool. Yeah, I agree. If this didn't have the hole, it wouldn't be nearly as cool. But because it has the hole, it's iconic. Yeah, so that one's in oh yes tier. Um, okay, next is the assimilator. Assimilator, bull, 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 bull. So this is a really, I don't know. This is a really artsy one. This is like a really artsy piece of roll art. So like it's meant to be like a hand, right? It's meant to be like a four-fingered hand that is reaching um like towards a soul. It's like meant to be like grabbing a soul. And I represented that with like a black orb. And like typically souls are represented by orbs, like this one in here. That's more soul stuff. I think there might be another. Oh yeah, yeah. Soul Bender down here. That's another orb. Yeah, like orbs. I don't know. It like I represented that as like this dark orb for this one, and it's not like a realistic hand. It's not a complete hand, but it's just the idea of like, oh, I'm gonna grab this soul right now, and that's mine, or I'm gonna make that me, because that's what the assimilator does. I actually really like how this one turned out, even though it's like pretty abstract. I really like this one. I'd throw this. I'd throw this right there. I think that's good. And now I'm reading chat. It's a hazmat suit? No. It's not a sniffed from Mario either. A sniffit, sorry. I don't know my Mario creatures. It is not a hazmat suit. Oh man, why? I guess I could. Oh, I could totally see why you think that. Yeah. Because, like, you think, like, the back two fingers are, like, the shine of I don't know, like, the mask part of it. No, that's actually not what it is. There's four fingers. There's one, two, three, and then four. This is the big thumb on this side. I can totally see where you guys are coming from. That's crazy. I I guess maybe I went a little too abstract with that one, but there we go. I see it as the pea shooter with the hood on it. You mean Green Shadow? I love Green Shadow. Very cool character. But nope, it's a hand. It's a hand grabbing a soul. Sorry to disappoint y'all. Very symmetrical hand. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to go more abstract, but I really like how it turned out. I like that one. It's a good one. Backstabber. This was a fun one to make because I was actually able to just take oh, it's right here. I was able to take the bystander roll and split it in half and like I don't know, make this cool thing where it's like, oh, I'm abandoning being an innocent and I'm slicing the innocent symbol in half. I think it's really cool. It uses another roll art in its roll art. I don't know. It might be one of my favorites. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it here. I like the slash. I like that it uses the innocent roll art. I think it's good. There is a reason I was basing the head for the icon of my totally accurate battle simulator. Oh yeah, I should have known. I should have known that. Man, I didn't even piece it together when I saw that. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, backstabber, real motion, real like movement in that one. Boom. That's going in my favorites. Balancer. Balancer is like mid, I would say. Balancer's probably like here for me. Mostly because like I don't know, like in the scale that I'm working with, I just think that that's probably like one of the most accurate ways to portray a balance. I don't know. It's kind of just a boring object, I guess. It's a scale. Now that I'm looking at all these icons, I need to binge the entirety of the role introductions. Some people have memorized this stuff better than I have, and I appreciate that. Feel free to go watch. Honestly, like it's a quite the information overload if you try to do it all in one sitting. But I won't stop you. If you do a speed paint of all the roles, what takes the least and most time? Ooh, what takes the least time? The least time? Now I'm just looking at all these. Probably medic. I think medic would probably take the least amount of time if I were to do a speed paint of all of them at once. Just because it's a symmetrical shape, you know what it's meant to look like. It's just big squares. But what would take the most time? Oh, what would take the most? Oh, it's definitely definitely robber. It's not called robber. I'm blanking on my own role names right now. You know what? I'm gonna grab my box. Be right back. I'm just gonna step back in my room, grab my box. It's on my shelf. It's right over here. Grabbing my box right now. My Massacards Grandest Party Edition. Blah. Massacards Grandest Party Edition box. I now have it in my hand. Some of the more recent rolls, like, I've made them the most recently, but I've also had like the least experience with them. So like I find myself forgetting their names more often, but that's like I know all of their names. It's not that I don't know their names. It's just that like sometimes my brain is like, "What's that? You need to know something right now. You're not allowed to know something. What are you silly?" Do you guys do your brains ever do that? Because my brains be like that sometimes. Here I am sifting through my rolls, dude, my rolls right now. Oh man, you ever run into that problem where you have so many rolls? I'm not looking at chat for those of you that are trying to tell me. I'll probably remember it before I find it. You know, I'll probably remember it. Oh my god, it's smuggler. What am I thinking? It's smuggler because the rope is they be smuggling though. Oh my gosh. This is how I think. This is why it takes me so long to do things, okay? Oh. Yes, character 22 takes more than the medic, that's for sure. Bizarre Blitz, thank you for telling me it was smuggler. Appreciate it. uh, oh yeah, I totally hear you, your local commenter. You totally exist, and I can prove it by reading what you wrote right there. This is a no knowing things zone, absolutely. Yeah, that's another thing too. I also have the old versions of the rules in my head too. Yeah, okay, so that's my final answer. It would be medic would take the least amount of time and smuggler would take the most amount of time. Because look at that rope. Look at how that rope has to move into itself. Anyway. Banisher. Banisher is cool. I'm putting Banisher up here. Banisher might be up here. It's cool. It's rude courts, you exist. Whether you want to or not. I hate to break it to you, but I'm reading your thing. Look at how cool Banisher looks. It's like a vortex. It goes wee wee, it's swirly. It's fun. It's a swirly roll. It goes swirly. Woo! It's like cosmic space stuff. Have y'all seen Acceleracers, the Ultimate Race movie 4? And they enter the cosmic realm and there's a black hole and it looks nothing like a black hole and it looks like this instead? There we go. uh, very important question. What's your opinion on beans on toast? I've never eaten it, so I don't have an opinion on it. I don't know if that's valid or not. How much time does it take usually to reply to every comment? Depends on how many comments there are. Sometimes it takes me days. Sometimes it takes me minutes. Yeah, Banisher roll. Wee! It go wee! Okay. Banker. It's time for Banker. This is what paper currency looks like in the Massacards universe canonically. Actually, yeah, I think that is true. Yeah, I think they do. Um, I think they actually do look like that canonically. I think that makes sense. There's your lore. Massacards money looks like that, and the coins look like this canonically. That's just one side of the coin, though. You don't know what the other side looks like. Banker is mid for sure. I probably put it at the bottom of mid. Just because, I don't know, there's not much exciting about it, but it's accurate. It looks like money, you know? And it has the big M on it. Here is your reminder that MCE is a game. It sure is. It sure is a game. It's my least favorite game of all time. Yeah, you got me to say it. Massac hash. Absolutely accurate. That's not what it's called though. It's mid. I throw it in mid. It looks like money. Barterer. I think barterer is like mid. I think it's okay. So there's a lot of things going on in barterer because barterer is like, oh yeah, we got the yin yang sort of thing, but I didn't want to make it look exactly like yin yang, so I kind of just separated them a little bit and added fire. I don't know. Like I didn't want it to be an exact copy of the yin yang symbol, but I also wanted it to mean and demonstrate the same thing. And yin yang is just a really good symbol for this sort of deal thing because it's like you're trading souls or whatever. But also there's fire in it, and fire is hard. But also I think this is better than the arsonist's fire. um, what the cache is canonically? The cache is not canonically called mid. I mean, like, I don't think I've thought that far into like what the currency is called or anything like that. It's just currency. It's not important. It's not important for the lore or the story of Massacards, so I haven't put that much thought in it. Why does the M in banker art mean massacre or money? I won't tell you what it means. I don't know. I mean, I do know I do know what it stands for, but also like I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. um, yeah, but I think barterer is better than arsonist when it comes to the fire drawings that I've done. I don't know. I think it's better in motion here. Best Massacards card symbol to get a tattoo of? Hmm. I don't know if I would want a tattoo of any of these with the box grid around it. I mean, I'm really hesitant to get a tattoo in general. I don't have any tattoos, and I don't know if I'll ever get one. But I've said in the past, like, if I ever would get a tattoo, I would totally get one that is a Massacards roll. And it would probably be Killer or Deity of Death, because, like, those are my, I don't know, like, those are my most iconic ones. Or Massacre, one of these three. Deity of Death, Killer, or Massacre. Like, those are, like, my three most iconic roll arts, I would say. But, like, I don't know if any of them would make a good tattoo. I don't know. I don't know if any pixel art thing. I feel like pixel art might not look good on a tattoo. It would just all be one color too. That's a little boring. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend getting a tattoo of these in general. Up next is Beast. Beast could be better. I was going for kind of like a wolf claw shark tooth thing with like this lump over here, but like I don't know. That shape is pretty hard to portray in the format. In like the 64 by 64 pixel ratio or whatever. It could be better. Um, yeah, I think that's really all I have to say on that one. I just think I don't know. I could definitely get that shape better if I tried it again, but maybe I couldn't because I settled on that one. So uh, I'd imagine tattoos would smooth out. Oh, absolutely. What about the ear? No, the ear is not good for a tattoo. Don't even say that. Out of every role, which one do you like the least? I think I responded to this in the Discord server pretty recently, actually. Liar. The Liar is my least favorite for a couple reasons. One of them is because it is like the hardest role to win as in the game, especially on random role selection where there's a chance that there's a pretty darn good chance that you just might not be able to win at all. Um, and for that reason, it's pretty unbalanced, honestly. But like some of these roles were designed with like specific scenarios in mind, and like if you build a scenario around the liar, they become a lot more viable and better. But in general, I would say that liar is like the hardest role to win as. But on top of that, um, like this was I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago now. My ex-girlfriend like designed the idea of this role. Like she didn't design the art. She didn't design like how the role plays, just the idea of like the liar and like this color as well. Like and like it's like a snake, like snake symbol or whatever. And like her idea was for like an entirely different game, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I love adding roles to my hidden role game, so I like added it to Massacards as well. And I don't know, I mean, like she is my ex-girlfriend, and I don't know, I kind of don't like thinking about that. This is a bit personal, obviously. I don't know, I don't like thinking into the past like that. I don't know, well, it's not really the best time, but you know, I'm not gonna remove a role from the game just because I don't like it. Like I think it's worthy of being here. I think the liar, it's fine. It's fine. It's just my least favorite. Which role art is best on a mug? That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe like Massacre. I think Massacre would probably be my pick. Oh, or Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor would be pretty good on a mug, actually. I like that. Or Fool. Fool would be pretty good. Okay, maybe there's a few that would be good on a mug. Okay, we gotta move on, otherwise we're gonna be here all night. Seriously. um okay, so bioweapon, aka Melter, for those of you that were there previously on the last stream, and also now when I referenced that last stream. This is the first roll that has the circle around it, so it's like a game mode roll. Um, I really like Melter. It's like, oh yeah, it's an apple, but it's like being melted away. I don't know. I like things that are like goopy and melty, and I like drawing that in pixel art. I think it's really satisfying, and I think that roll art turned out really well. um, wait, an Ouroboros. Oh yeah, there's yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. um, Biter. Biter is another one of the the undead rolls. Biter is just a tooth. You know, it's a really small tooth as well. I'd put it in mid. Maybe like here. I think it is. I mean, I like that it's a tooth. I like that it's small. I think it deserves to be small on the roll art. But like, yeah, I mean, it's just mid. There's not a lot of detail that you can put into a tooth. I like the idea of the tooth being there. uh, it looks like a landmine. Oh, yeah. I mean, the melters icon. Yeah, I can kind of see it. Apple. It's late. I'm going to sleep. That's totally okay. Have a good night. The gooper is pretty good. Absolutely. Up next is Blackmailer. So there are three envelope rolls, I'm pretty sure. There's Blackmailer, there's Compassionate. Compassionate is right here. And there's one more, right? Or am I hallucinating? I didn't already rank it, did I? No. Maybe there's there's two or three. And yeah, I mean like envelope is a pretty boring shape. So that's, it doesn't lead to a lot of creativity. I mean, that's why Compassionate has like perspective in it and stuff like that. But Blackmailer, it just has this like, I don't know, it has a skull on it. I think it's mid. I think it's like down here. It's not the most exciting that there is. Outsider, yeah, Outsider has one. I couldn't see it on here because I was just glancing really quickly. Ah, here it is. Yeah, the torn envelope, and that one's. We'll get to that one. But yeah, like Blackmailer, like it is what it is, but also it's a really boring shape. So it's mid. Like it's not like it could be much better, but also it's just a boring shape. Bleeder. Bleeder is next. Um, this one is mid. Also, I would say I'd probably put it here. Like it's meant to convey what the bleeder does. It bleeds on you and it infects you. You get the blood on you, and now you're an undead. You get it? You get it? It's blood. I don't know. Not much you can do with blood. The broken sword one is absolutely sweet. Glad you think so. We'll be talking about the broken sword pieces in a bit here. Blessed. Now I'm thinking about Blessed. Yeah, I do think Blessed is better. I do think Blessed is better than Archangel, but just by a little bit. Just by a little bit. I think it's. Oh, I think it's probably like right here. Like it's not much better, but I think it's like better. I don't know. There's more detail. It's meant to be an object. It's got the sparkles instead of just being a symbol. I do think Archangel is better at being a symbol, but I think that Blessed is better at being an object. But it's also an oval. So true. I'm sorry. This is a really spur of the moment stream, so I'm sorry if this time was a little bit too late for you, but this is just the only time I could do it. I wanted to do it right now, so I'm doing it. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll do one earlier next time. I want to do more streams, but this last week of work was really killing me. Aha. Blighted. Blighted is I don't like it. Have you ever tried to draw a microscopic thing and realize how simple they are and how hard they are to portray in a moderately detailed light? That's what blighted is like. Because it's like, how do I portray blight? I mean, of course, this blight isn't even close to like the real world equivalent of a blight, but you know, it's hard to portray like bacteria and things like that, like microscopic things at this scale. So it looks really weird. I don't know. That one might be my least favorite icon there is, honestly. It might be my least favorite. It's a thin and flat donut. That's what the blessed is for sure. 22 is ranked by their unrevealed icon, so you can't see it. Like you don't know what it looks like. Ha ha ha, Body Snatcher. Body Snatcher is one of my favorites. But where? Maybe like here. Drawing like a scapula like that, or like a a surgery knife just in general. Like it's small. It's smaller than the rest of the knives, but it's still just as sharp, and it could slice your face off or whatever. Like that's awesome. And the blood splatter really adds to it. I like the color. I feel like it fits even though it's not a red. I think Body Snatcher is worthy of my favorites. It's one of my favorite like physical items that I've drawn and put on there. I think it's pretty cool. Pretty good rendition of a scalpel. Yes, a scalpel. Yes, 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 yes. Nice body. I'm taking it. Accurate to Body Snatcher. It's a really good scalpel. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that was the intention. Like, oh yeah, master of like, precisely cutting things. um okay, Body Swapper. We're from Body Snatcher to Body Swapper, and I like Body Swapper a lot as well. Body Swapper is one of my favorites. I think I'm going to put it there. I just really like how good I was able to represent this brain in my style. Like I really like this brain shape, but then like having the two brains be inverted, it's like, oh, it tells the story of like, oh yeah, you're swapping bodies. But then also it reminds me of like how, playing cards, they have like themselves mirrored in the opposite corner. So it's like you got like you got the ace on the top left corner, but then in the bottom right, it's also there, but it's upside down. It's like that, but in a roll art. Whee! And like I'm pretty sure that's the only one that does that. A cool little detail, really fun. It's in my favorites. Brain. Oh, Bone King. Ah, we have a lot of my favorites in a row here. I really like Bone King. Bone King might be my favorite one so far. Oh, Bone King is really cool. So, obviously, yeah, we got Bone Crown, and this crown is based off of the Royalties Crown. So, the Royalties Crown is down here. A very similar shape that the Bone King has. Like it's a very similar shape, but it's made out of bones, and it's a lot more detailed, and it's a lot more fun. I had a really good time coming up with this design, because it's like, oh yeah, rib cage in the middle, and that like covers all this stuff, and then you got like the bones on the side, and it's like shoulder blades that make up the middle points. I don't know. I just think it's a really cool design. Like, is it anatomically accurate? Absolutely not. But also, do I care? No, because Bone King design, Bone Crown, Bone. Your bones are now forfeit to the Bone King. So true. Yeah. Anyways, I really like the Bone King. Are the Conqueror and the Royalty related? That's a lore question. I'm not going to directly answer the lore question. Unless I feel like it. But I don't feel like answering that one. I think you guys can continue to wonder about that. The boss. I really like the boss. I think it might be top of oh yes. Like it's really simple. It gets the point across. You know, the bow. I mean, not the bow tie, but the regular tie and the collar of the shirt. I like it. I mean, it's a basic shape, but I still wanted to make the angles sharp. So it's like, oh yeah, this guy means business. Literally. What would an anatomically correct bone crown even be? I don't know. I feel like a lot of the bones would probably come from the hand or something, like the hands and the feet, and it would be more like a bone tiara. I don't know. You wouldn't really be able to use any of the bigger bones, like the shoulder blades and the rib cage, and like, you know, any of the big bones in your arms or legs, like the femur and stuff like that. If you want to learn more about these roles, so I recommend watching the how to play video first. There's a tutorial playlist on my channel, and then there's the role introduction playlist. Yeah, just check those out. Start watching. It's that simple. The how to play video, I feel like, is the most important one, just so you understand like what these roles are doing. Some people call the head a crown. No. Just the skull, I guess. Really? Yeah, you could just wear a skull. You could just wear someone's skull that's bigger than you. Massacards Kickstarter goal: make the bone crown real. I could 3D print a bone crown. That'd be a pretty fun project. That'd be kind of fun. I like that. Okay, up next, Boxer. Boxer is mid. Boxer is like here. You know, because it's a basic shape. It's like, oh yeah, it's a boxing glove. I'm gonna punch you. Not a lot of room for detail there, honestly. But I like how it looks. I mean, and I made it green because Little Mac, Punch Out. I love Punch Out. If you guys have watched my Uno videos, you know I like to reference Punch Out from time to time, and the Monopoly videos as well. I like to reference Punch Out because it's a great game. And yeah, Boxer, green boxing glove in mid. Bow tie. Bow tie could be better for sure. I'd put it like I'd put it here. I think bow tie could be better. It could just have a couple more folds in it. I mean, it definitely still looks like a bow tie. Yeah, that's the butler's icon, by the way. The butler's icon. Yeah, like they have a couple of folds in the bow tie. Maybe that could have been better, but this is another old roll that was like it's based off of one of the high res roll arts from like old Massacards and or Murder. So like I don't know. I think like it's a classic, so it has to keep that shape, and I didn't want to really change it too much. So that's why it looks a little bit more silhouette-y, I guess. Um, Bystander. Bystander is like the definition of mid, honestly. Like, I mean, like it definitely, you know, there's not a lot you can do with the peace sign. It is just the peace sign. Like, I don't know. It's a little small, I guess. It's mid. I don't have a lot to say on that one. That's also this is a roll that has changed its roll art in like every iteration because it used to be like, you know, someone giving like the two fingers, the two finger like peace sign where it's like a hand with the two finger peace sign where it's like the pointer finger and the middle finger like that. I'm doing it, but you guys can't see me because I don't have a camera. um but yeah, it just morphed into the symbol of the peace sign because it made more sense. I don't know. It made more sense to go with the style that a lot of these other ones have. So that's why it's like that now. It's mid. Is the Uno Amalgam going to have lore? Yeah, it already does. You can read it in the OST, the Chemicards OST videos. That's probably all the lore that I'll give. Thank you. Thank you, Guy. That was the hand I was doing off camera. Thanks, y'all. All right. Moving on, we got Cannibal. Cannibal is good. Cannibal is good. It's a fork. Fork is fun. That's like top of oh yes. And the blood splat. Mmm. Yes. Also, like the first of many kitchen utensil roll icons. We have the complete set. We have Cannibal fork, Connoisseur spoon, and X Killer kitchen knife. It all is right in the world. You got the complete set. The peace sign is actually derived from the semaphore letters of N and D. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. But yeah, fork. Fork is good. It's a fork. It looks good. But the blood really does that for me. And the cannibal had their icon changed a few times too. They used to be teeth, similar to how like the monster and the maniac were, but like a combination of monster and maniac. They used to kind of look like that. But I think the fork just really, I don't know, it shows their personality more, but also like it fits better. So yeah, that's a cannibal in there. Cardiologist. Cardiologist is gonna be high for me. Like, I like here. I like that. It's accurate. It's a stethoscope. You know, like you got. It's a stethoscope. You can tell what it is. I like the curve though. I like that it goes like wee wee. It's an S. That's fun. I didn't do just like a straight woo whatever it was. Like it doesn't just like go straight down like it's hanging from someone's neck like it normally would, you know, like it's like laying on a table or on the floor or something like that. That's why it's like that. Lore. Caregiver. Caregiver is mid. So drawing a wheelchair is hard, and I learned that. Yeah, I mean, I learned that drawing a wheelchair is hard when you're trying to draw it in 3D. So I ended up drawing a side profile of it, and it looks way better. I mean, like, I could put it in could be better, but also, like, yeah, I don't know. That's as good as it's gonna get because drawing wheelchairs, they're complex. They're pretty complex for like the scale that I'm working in. Knife gun wheelchair. Yeah, it is a bit of an outlier, but there's a lot of weird items in here. We got music boxes, we got canisters of waste, and we have gravestones and wine glasses and chess pieces and scissors and whistles and yeah, we got a lot of stuff in here. Celebrity, yeah, it's like top of could be better. Cameras, you know. Like I have to think about like the setting of Massacards with things like the celebrity because it's like what exists, you know, like do video cameras exist? Yes, but they're kind of primitive in how they look. So I had like a really stylized, like old looking ish camera, like a real type camera in here, and you know it's alright. I didn't want to add too much detail to it, otherwise it might look a little bit too realistic, you know, and I don't want it to look too realistic because this is not a real camera. This is not a good camera. I mean, this is not a real camera. Sorry. Chef. Chef is in like bottom of could be better. I was almost gonna put it in I don't like it, but it's like bottom of could be better. I don't know. Drawing circles at an angle. really hard. It's a little tricky. And chef's hats, you know, that's a really cartoony chef's hat. It's not like a real chef's hat because like those are even harder to draw. They have like real clothing wrinkles in them and stuff like that. And also the color is really ugly, but also like that's like one of the last roll arts that I made, so I was really low on colors at that point. Like I don't know, I it's a pretty ugly color in my opinion, but it's one of the few colors that I had. One of the few, I don't know, brown colors. Child. Child is Child is up here, I would say. Maybe like top of mid. I'd put Child in top of mid. I like the flow of the string, and it's like, oh yeah, it's a balloon, and you got like the little balloon shine. It's a little shiny balloon. Okay, I understand that the chef's hat looks a little bit like a muffin. I can totally understand that. But if I wanted it to make it if I wanted it to look more like a muffin, I would totally throw some like blueberry spots in there or something like that. Yeah. A child. Yeah, it's just like a small balloon. Got the little balloon like flap at the bottom and like the string. Yeah, I like the curve again. Like adding curves like the S bend in here. Wow. Oh, thank you, TM Gaming, for the $5. Here's $5 to support Massacards. I gotta go. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It won't go to waste. I mean, obviously, any donations to this channel do not go to waste, but I I appreciate that very much. Thank you, thank you. um, Collaborator is next. Collaborator is like basic, you know. It's mid. The Collaborator is like bottom of mid because it's basic. I had to draw a puzzle piece, and look, it looks like a puzzle piece, but it's also not the most complex thing in the world. But darn, does it get that point across? I don't know. I don't have a lot to say. Like there are some of these roll icons that I made in like I mean, I've made all of these like several years ago now, but also like some of them I made over the course of like 30 minutes, to like trial and error, like beep, 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 like deleting and redrawing lines. Like some of these have taken hours and some of these have taken minutes. So like I don't know, like drawing a puzzle piece, not that hard. Like this roll art didn't take very long. It's a puzzle piece, you know? It's a puzzle piece. Combatant. Yes, it's like a bandana. And I always think of like the I think I'll put this right here. Yeah, I think it's like near top of mid. I always think of like the bandana from Undertale. I don't know. Even though like it just makes me think of the bandana from Undertale, the tough bandana. It's just like, oh yeah. I mean, I have no other context for bandanas, well, besides like Rambo or something like that. It's like you wear it around your forehead. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna go fight something, and like that seems to be like the trend. The trend for wearing a bandana around your forehead. I don't know. You got like martial arts masters wearing bandanas around their forehead. It's like that, but it's purple because I like purple. You like the shade of blue on the Collaborator? Me too. I think a lot of these colors actually look better digitally than they do on the real cards, unless you have like a bright light shining on them. Like if you're playing in a normally lit room, like some of these colors just don't feel as vibrant. But that's just me. Comedian. I like Comedian. Comedian's gonna be in my favorites for sure. Probably like right here. Like having a joke pistol, super funny. I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect for this character. It just makes sense. um I don't know if any of you have seen the Batman Beyond Return of the Joker movie, but there's this scene, and it's like it got censored in like a lot of versions of the movie. There's this scene where Joker gets shot by a gun like this. It's like a flag gun. a prop flag gun, and you shoot the gun once and the flag pops out, but then you shoot it again, and then the flag flies out and it's like a bullet, because I mean it's a metal thing flying at you at a really high speed. That's kind of how I imagine comedians, like, in universe mechanic working. Like, they have all of these, like, they're a comedian, they have all of these like prop things or whatever, and then at the end of the night they survive, they pull out this prop gun, and the other person just doesn't suspect a thing. They're like, what are you gonna do, shoot me? And like the flag pops out of the gun, and they're like, oh yeah, I thought so. And then the comedian pulls the trigger and the flag flies out and it impales them, like it did Joker in the Return of the Joker movie. Comedian is your second favorite card? Oh, that's awesome. A good choice, honestly. Yeah, that's my train of thought when it comes to comedian. High speed flag dispenser, absolutely. All right, moving on. Compassionate. I think compassionate I might put in my oh yes tier, but like towards the bottom of oh yes, and here's why. Okay, I like the perspective. I like the little bit of perspective where it's like I'm handing you this envelope because like the front of it is closer to you. But also it's so cute because it has like a little heart on the seal of the envelope. How cute is that? Aw. I don't know, and I like the color because it's pink. It's like pink. It's got the heart. It's like, oh, it's so cute. I'm gonna give you this envelope. Aw. It's so cute. Aw. I don't know. I think it's cute. If there was a tier for cute, I'm not gonna make a tier for cute, but if there was a tier for cute, compassionate is at the top of that. um, yeah. Okay. Up next, we got con artist. Con artist is probably an oh yes tier for me as well. Right here, I think. I like the patch. It's because it implies that it's not a trash bag. It's like a burlap sack that this person has been like carrying around, and it's just like full of crap. It's just like full of absolute junk that no one wants. And they've taken care to patch the bag because it had a hole in it, and it's the only bag that they have. I don't know. It's really fitting for the character too, because it kind of looks like a trash bag, but like the patch, it's like, oh, that makes it, and it's like a really like heavy looking bag, a big bag sack. It's good, and it's purple. I like purple. That one's in the oh yes tier. That's for sure. All right, get your spoons ready. Spoons in chat, because the connoisseur is here. Oh, I love Spoon. I don't think it's top tier, but I think it might actually be like up here with Cannibal, like in the oh yes tier. But I think it might be like, I don't know, here. I really like Spoon. Spoon is so funny, and like, I I'm pretty sure like, I don't know, I can't remember the exact lore of this, like the out of universe lore of Connoisseur, where it's like, I made the roll art for Cannibal, and then Bailey or someone else, one of my friends, is like, well, now you got to make a spoon roll. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so right. I need to make a spoon roll right now. So anyways, that's why Connoisseur is here. Yeah, spoon roll. Spoon. Yeah, it's definitely oh yes, even though it's just a spoon. There's nothing special about it. It's just a spoon. I eat the clues. So true. Okay, up next we got Conqueror. Conqueror, woo, yeah. Conqueror, I like the dynamic movement of Conqueror. I think that might be oh yes. Like, it looks like a flag blowing in the wind. I like that I was able to capture that movement. And it's like a tattered thing, a tattered flag of a... It has a history, It's a flag with a lot of history. And that's why I like it. I think it turned out really well. And also, I think I used this symbol for something else that wasn't Massacards related, but I can't remember what. I know I made it for Massacards first, but yeah, it's Conqueror. Now imagine a knife roll. There are so many. A spork roll. Someone combine connoisseur and cannibal and make it a roll. Throw it in the roll ideas. I know it's gonna happen. That's the spork roll. He heard there was soup. Yeah, Conqueror is definitely. Oh yes, I just like the shape. I like the shape. Constable is definitely like Constable is like probably bottom of mid, like maybe like here. You know, like the shield shape is a bit hard. It's a bit difficult to get right. And like I feel like I could have maybe added a little bit more detail to Constable, but other than that, it's good. And I like the thematic ties to the apprentice. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like using like the similar star symbol, like it links them almost a little bit, but not really. It's just like a thematic art thing. um, yeah. Okay. So coordinator. Coordinator is interesting. You know what? Coordinator reminds me of the vehicle boxes from Jetpack Joyride. I think it's like mid. It's in here somewhere. I'd probably put it like right here. It's like Jetpack Joyride. It's like Jetpack Joyride. It's the Jetpack Joyride thing. I don't know. Like when you have a role called the collaborator, it's like, I mean, not collaborator, the coordinator. It's like, well, how do you represent that as an icon? I feel like I had a bit of trouble with that, but you know, the gears work. The gears work pretty well. Constable goes hard, but it's a little basic. I agree. Why do all of the knives look like chili peppers? Not all of them do. Just the fancy curved ones do. There are some that don't. Many that don't, actually. I should specify. Oh, Coroner. Coroner is one of my favorites. I really like Coroner. It's probably like here. The shape, it's a classic. It's one of the classic roles that I, scaled down from way back, and I love the color. I love the lime green color, and I like that it's DNA. I don't know, it's pretty cool. It fits. It's fun. Massacre just has the entire Jetpack Joyride facility in the back of his house. No, technology has not advanced that far in the Massacards world, unfortunately. But yeah, Coroner, easy, my favorites, really easy. Corrupt. Corrupt is definitely going to go in oh yes, I think, but where in oh yes? Maybe like here in oh yes. I don't know. I like the idea of like a broken knife. Like the knife broke. Imagine a knife that's so rusty that if you try to stab something with it, like the tip of the knife would break off, like when you did that. That's what the Corrupt's knife. That's like the current state of the Corrupt's knife. And I tried to portray that with like little flecks of pixels, and I think it turned out, moderately okay. So yeah, I like the idea, and I like I like how it turned out, and I like the color. I think the color fits the corrupt as well. It's like a corrupted knife. Like, oh, the knife has been corrupted. I don't know. Oh, bug. Oh yeah, it's time for moth. Oh, I love moth. I I feel like this is one of my like the cryptid's design is one of my favorite like color combinations plus symbol thing. This is probably one of my favorites. Oh, it's really up there, isn't it? Yeah, it really is. Man, I think it might actually be second place right now. I really like Moth. Moth is really cool. Um, I think the color combination, like the color really fits. Even though like moths typically aren't that like weird shade of blue, I just think like it fits the character really well, the character of the cryptid. And it's a cute little moth. Like I am scared to death of bugs. Like I am scared of bugs for real. Like I definitely have real arachnophobia, even though like I refuse to turn arachnophobia mode on in like games like Lethal Company. But like I had to kill a wasp or like a hornet in my house earlier today, and like it was seriously like the most stressful part of my week. Like I do not like having to fight bugs. But moths and butterflies and like caterpillars and like a few select other bugs, like I don't know, like stick bugs and leaf bugs and things like that. I love them. They are very cool. And this is Moth, and Moth is here. There we go. Moth. Curator is mid. Curator is so mid. Curator is there. It's a ribbon. It's not that fancy. It's an award ribbon. Like, oh, you did it. Yippee. There's no significance to it really. It just makes sense. Like a curator of like, oh, like the certified museum space. Boom. I thought moths were fictional. Mothman is fictional. But I mean, I hate to break this to you if you're afraid of moths, but moths are very real. They are all over the place. Um, I don't know. I don't know where you must be living in a pretty like cold or like very desert climate or something, or maybe like a tropical climate even, because like moths are all over the place where I'm at. Like I'm in northern United States, and like I don't know, they're all over. Moths are not fictional. They are just they're like butterflies. They're similar. I mean, they're not as pretty, but like they're cute. Anyway, curator goes there. There's so many boring objects where it's like, yeah, it makes sense for the role, but like the object isn't as cool as it could be. You know, like light bulb mid. I mean, mm, yeah, I would throw that in mid. I don't think I could draw a better light bulb than that because it is literally just a light bulb. Wait, you don't live in Texas? I thought you said you lived in Texas. I never said that. Who told you that? I don't live in Texas. I live in Minnesota. I'm a Minnesota guy. I thought my accent would give it away because, like, I met a guy from New York at a tennis camp once, and, like, you know, everyone at the camp was from Minnesota except for this guy, and he was insisting that we all had really strong accents. But when I heard him, he didn't sound like he had an accent. Like, if he hadn't told me that he was from New York, I wouldn't have known. I would have just thought he was from Minnesota, but no. I'm a Minnesotan, eh? From Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota's a good state. I like Minnesota. Anyway, yeah, that's going there mid. Cursed. I like Cursed. Cursed is probably like, oh yes. Oh yes. So this vase for the Cursed is based off of a real vase. I'm not going to tell you or show pictures of what the real vase is. Just know that the cursed vase is based off of a real vase. um, dealer is pretty. It could be better. It's just an arrow with like a circle. I would probably put it like here. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like a Chemicards icon now, but this was made way before Chemicards icons. Trying to say rural. Apparently, it's hard to say. Rural, rural. I don't think it's that difficult. I mean, rural. Is that a thing that gives my accent away? Rural. That's how I say rural. I don't know. I feel like I don't say that word very much. Did the vase break? I'm not gonna tell you. That might give it away. Maybe the real vase broke. Who knows? The vase kind of looks like it's from Hercules or something. Oh my gosh, yeah, I love that movie actually. I love Hercules. Um, I don't know. That was one of the movies that like I watched a lot growing up because my mom tried to teach me a lot about like mythology and stuff like that, and I'm really into like Greek and Roman and even like Egyptian mythology and things like that. Like I think it's really cool. I was like number one Percy Jackson fan in middle school for real. But yeah, I can totally see what you're saying where it's like that kind of like a Greek vase or something like that. Very yeah, very cool. Makes me like my own icon even more. Decayed Decayed I'm definitely going to put in oh yes, and it's a really high oh yes because okay, so here's what I did, right? So this is the Love Six icon, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make that, but like scrunkly, and that's what I did. I made it a slightly darker green, and then I made it look like it's decaying, and then I made like the little like stress lines, and it's like falling apart. It's split in half. I don't know. I just think it's really cool. Decayed icon. Hercules is a terrible way to teach someone about Greek mythology. Oh yeah, absolutely. The Disney movie for sure. Um, my mom taught me a lot of real mythology, but also because she likes mythology, she owns Disney's Hercules, and she likes the movie for what it is, even though it's like extremely inaccurate to real mythology. But whatever. Yeah, decayed, scrunkly heart. um like Decade doesn't actually have any lore like any major lore ties to the Lovesick, but like it's the dichotomy of like heart symbol, you have like this heart is super wrinkly and gross and it's in a bad shape, and then you have like, oh, Lovesick's heart all nice and proper and good. Yeah, like heart split down the middle. And it's an oh yes, oh yes tier. Defector. Yeah, I would say it's like top of mid. It's probably the weakest gun that I've drawn for this. I don't know. I tried to make it look like a I don't know, almost like a breech loading something, but it kind of didn't work quite the way I wanted. But it still is distinct enough as a gun compared to the other guns. So I like how it turned out. It's not my favorite gun, that's for sure. Okay, we have all of the deity roles here now. So yeah, for those of you that don't know, I'm just going to set the record straight right now. So this is the deity of death, this white symbol here, and all of the other deities here, their role icons are pieces of the deity of death's sword. And these five icons were really fun to make because I had made deity of death's icon already, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can like I can spread it out across 5 icons. It's super cool, and they'll all be broken and ugh, you know. So like yeah, Deity of Denial, that's the cross guard. And there's like symbolism there too, you know. Um like there's symbolism to this because like denial and then the cross guard, the function of a cross guard on a sword is to block something. It's like I deny your other sword. There's symbolism there. And then we have like this is the handle, deity of depression. This is the handle of the sword, and you can see that it's broken at the end where the gemstone would be held. And like it's it's depressing that I lost the prettiest part of, the handle. Like there's symbolism there. And then over here we have the actual gemstone, which is deity of acceptance, which is the only one that's like pristine. It's the only one that's like, oh man, I accept this gem for what it is. It's a gem. And then over here we have deity of anger. Deity of anger is the tip of the sword, and that's the one that's going to do the damage. It's going to be the one that's stabbing, so it makes the most sense that it's deity of anger. And then finally we have a deity of bargaining, which is the wrap that would go around the handle to give you a better grip on the handle of the sword. And like the wrap is like it's holding on to stuff. It's like it's bargaining, like please just stay together, like that kind of thing. So all of these role icons, they have symbolism, and I thought really long and hard, and I just had to make all of these, and I don't know, it's a really fun process. So anyway, that's like some dev art stuff there. But now that I've explained all of these, I would say Deity of Death is one of my favorites. I would probably put it like here. That's one of my favorites. Deity of Acceptance is also one of my favorites, just because of how simple it is. But it's like at the bottom. I like the design. It's like a pearl or a gemstone, however you want to look at it. I do like bargaining as well. I think bargaining is really high up here. Just for that perspective of that, like it's the wrap, and you can see like it was once wrapped around something cylindrical, like the handle of the sword, but like it's just come undone. I like the little fibers of fabric that are like blowing in the wind here. It's good. It's in oh yes. Anger is probably the worst one out of them. I would put anger in mid, honestly, but that's not anger's fault. I would just say that, like, without the context of the others, it's the hardest to tell what this one is. So, I don't know. Like, it's hardest to tell that this is the tip of a sword unless you compare it to the other ones. Then we have Denial here. Denial is in oh yes for sure. Probably like towards the bottom of oh yes. I'd probably put it like here maybe. And Depression is in the same place, I would say. Like these two are tied for me. I can't decide which one is better between them. So if you're they're here. I'm gonna put Depression a little bit above just because I like the crack that I put in the ring here. I don't know. Maybe I like Deity of Depression more, I guess. Like, as a design. I don't know. The Acceptance is a rock from an antique shop. That's true. I based the Acceptance art off of a rock I saw. Anger is very displeased with this result. It's just the way it is. Demolisher. Demolisher is up next. Oh yeah, Demolishers. Oh yes, it's a stick of TNT. It's so classic, and I like the little spark effect that I put on. I like it looks like a lit fuse. It's like sparking. It's about to detonate, and other than that, it's just a cylinder, which is so funny. Yeah, Demolisher in oh yes for sure. Demon is one of my favorites. Probably like here. I'd put Demon right there. So like, so demon is interesting. When I was designing demon, okay, so yeah, originally demon was called vampire. So like all of the old role art of demon was like vampire related. Like one was a bat, one was vampire teeth, things like that. But the demon, it's just like, man, I need to make it a demon now because I want it to be a demon. So I like, what did I do? I made horns, and the horns are based off of Helltaker. So like it's the general style. It's like a darker gray, like almost black. It's horns, like Helltaker, like those. So there you go. That's the reference. It's a reference there. Okay. I like when card art is just a little silly, nothing special, but still silly. Oh, thanks. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, there's definitely a few that are like that in here. There's definitely a few. There's definitely a few. Yeah, Demon might actually have the hex code of 666666. It might not be quite that, but it's pretty darn close. Not intentional. I didn't intentionally do that. Up next is Descendant. Descendant is mid. Probably like here. You know, it's really hard to portray that. It's hard to portray that like, oh, it's a lineage. It's like, oh, you got the family tree, you know? I don't know, it's hard to do that in such a small space, and I didn't want to go super detailed. So it kind of just looks like a football touchdown goal zone thing. You know what I'm talking about. But I think it still portrays it well. um Up next is oh man, we still have a lot to go here. I'm definitely going to try and speed up a little bit. We've been going for 105 minutes. I swear I'm trying to go at a decent pace, y'all. I swear. Disciple. Disciple is like, oh yes. Disciple I would put in oh yes. It has some lore to it too, because this is a massacre pendant. Um, I won't say much more about a massacre pendant, but it's a massacre pendant. And the disciple has it. It's a necklace. I like the string. It's like broken, you know. It's got the M on it. M for massacre. This one is actually M for massacre, not like M like on the bank money thing. This is M for massacre. That is M for massacre. Eavesdropper. This is an ear. I like how it turned out. Like it really does look like an ear. But I don't know. I like it's an ear. It's not very fun. It's just an ear. It does look like an ear though. I feel like I did a pretty good job portraying that that's an ear. What version of Uno is this? Massacards. um, S tier ear. The ear is good. Like I'm not doubting the quality of the drawing. I just think that it's not nearly as good as these ones up here. That's just my opinion. Um, Up next is Elemental. I really like Elemental. I would put this one in. I think it's here. It's a leaf. It's a silhouette of a leaf mostly, and this is also a classic one. You know, it had its original leaf symbol, and it got pixelated, and I edited it, and now it looks like this. I like the leaf. I think it really demonstrates this is a plant thing. leaf, leaf moment. Oh, Eliminator. Eliminator is really good. That's Eliminator's in my favorites for sure. Probably like here. No, here. It's a really good lighter, huh? I really like how that lighter turned out. Like a really small, classic lighter. Um, and okay, so the name Eliminator too. this role was originally like thought up by Anna, and like Anna, she just had the idea for the role, not like the name or anything. But the name Eliminator, like whenever I say it, I can only think of that one Fairly Odd Parents special where there's those robots called Eliminators, I'm pretty sure. And that's what my brain goes to every time, even though like I've put it in a completely different context for myself. I still think of the Fairly Odd Parents Eliminator robot things, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just silly, and maybe that I don't know, that Fairly Odd Parents special is ingrained in my brain. Employee. Oh, employee is pretty good. I would put employee like I'd put employee like here. No, it's higher than that. Employee is here, I think. Um yeah, I mean I think I did a really good job of capturing what a clipboard looks like, I guess. Like I had to go and get a real clipboard. Like I didn't look up a reference. Um I didn't like look up a reference image for a clipboard. I went and got a real clipboard, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to draw that." And I held it in my hand at that angle so I could draw it. Was it worth it? I don't know. I think it turned out, oh yes. X Killer. Shiny kitchen knife. Yeah, that's an oh yes from me. I'd probably put it like here. Yeah, this is like a standard kitchen knife. It's not like any of the other specialty knives that can be seen in here. That is just a kitchen knife because the X Killer hasn't killed anyone in quite some time. They're clean. It's a clean knife, no blood. Yeah, I think that it's just a really well drawn knife. I'm just complimenting myself, but yeah, I think it's a good knife. Experiment. I really like experiment. I think it's another oh yes tier. I'm putting a lot of things in the oh yes tier all of a sudden. Probably like here. Um, yeah, I mean, okay, so this is a reference to Frankenstein's monster. It's like a bolt, it's a reference to like the bolts that were in the sides of Frankenstein's monster's neck, and that's like the inspiration of the role in general. It's an experiment. It's an experiment that brought someone back from the dead, and that's there's a lot of all these. There's a lot of like inspiration like this from all of the undead roles, like yeah, like biter, like they're all meant to represent different types of zombies. I'm pretty sure I've like talked about this before, but yeah, all the undead roles are supposed to be like different types of zombies found in media. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Faker. The faker is fake. I would put this in oh yes as well. I really like how this one turned out. It's like a wallet, it's like a wallet, but it has like the see-through thing in it. I like the perspective of that one. I like the perspective, like there's the card sticking out. You can see there's like a little credit card or like an ID driver's license or something like that there. Like you can see it's sticking through the plastic part, and it has like the button pin on the side. That's not even what, but like that's not what my wallet looks like. But like I don't know. I think that worked out pretty well. Frankenstein is in public domain, so you can call the monster whatever you want. Well, I mean, like it's I mean, it's the monster, but like I'm not just going to call it the monster because then you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna call it Frankenstein's monster because Dr. Frankenstein made it. It just makes sense to me. I don't know. I'm referring to the monster that Dr. Frankenstein made in the hit story of Frankenstein. There we go. There we go. We got it. Here we are. Here we are talking about the Ouroboros like symbol. So this one is really similar to the dealer. Like, look at how similar these two are, you know? But I like the snake way more. Like, I don't know. I like the snake way more than that, honestly. I'd put the snake up here. And it just because it's a snake, you know, it's a real thing. No, like it's like yeah, it's like the Ouroboros. You know, the Ouroboros from the hit game Inscription. Have I ever said that I like Inscription before? It's Inscription. It's this one isn't an Inscription reference. It's just it makes sense. It's Ouroboros snake symbol. It makes sense. Isn't Frankenstein the monster? No, no. The Frankenstein is the scientist. Dr. Frankenstein is the scientist. I wouldn't recommend watching the classic movie. I don't know. It hasn't aged very well. um. Okay. Fool. Fool is next. Fool is in my favorites for sure. Like guaranteed. Fool is like it has text on it. It says haha. It's good. It's really good. And it's a jester hat. It's a jester hat. I mean, what more can I say? He says haha he he and then he laughs at you and the little bells on the end of the jester hat, they jingle jangle, cling clang. And it's one of my favorites. This is a classic one as well. I've this one has lasted the test of time. It definitely deserves to be in my favorites. You said you wanted to make Inscription IRL. Yeah, I did. And I still kind of want to, but it's a lot of work. It's just like Inscription. It's so true. Okay, the Frail. Frail's one of my favorites too. Frail's probably like up here with them as well. Frail is so funny. Like, I mean, Frail is such a funny role, and then you have like this role art of like just the femur breaking. I don't know. It's just such a funny visual to me that they can just die. They can die whenever they choose to, like bone breaking sound, classic Happy Wheels noises, you know, things like that. That's what I imagine when I look at this role art. It's in my favorites. It's in my favorites for sure. The friend. Friend is mid. Friend is like pretty low mid as well. Probably like right here. Band-Aid is just a pretty boring shape. And you know, it sure does look like a band-aid or a bandage, I guess, but it's a boring shape. I didn't want I originally had blood splatter like underneath the band-aid part, like the middle part of the band-aid there. Like I had a little bit of blood splatter, but it just didn't make sense, so I removed it and it just kind of made it more boring. I don't know. That's it's a little boring. It's just a little boring. Fungus. Fungus is like top near the top of mid in my opinion. Maybe like here. It is just a bunch of orbs in a circle, but the idea is like it's spores, you know? Like spores in the air and they're floating towards you to infect you with the undead virus. I think that's pretty good. And I like the color too, the really deep purple. It shows up better on the physical card, I can promise you that. Ghost. This is another fun one. This is another fun one because it takes the bystander, you see, and it just makes it ghostly. Like I'm putting that at like bottom of oh yes, I think, because it's like it's fun. It takes a pre-existing symbol and it just adds on to it. Now it's like a spooky innocent, ooh, spooky bystander. I think that's fun. I think that's fun. I don't know. Literally ouch.png. Yeah, that's that's what the Frail is. Goon. The goon is pretty fun. I like the perspective on the goon, and it's like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle mask or like a classic bank robber type mask, or like a mask from like someone from Lego Batman the video game, you know. It's like that kind of mask. Like it doesn't really protect your identity all that well. It just like shields the direct area around your eyes. It's like a Riddler mask or something like that. I don't know. It's good, and I like it's like a homemade one. It's got like a tassel, like a ripped end to it. It's an oh yes. Gorgon could be better. Gorgon's probably like top of could be better. So Gorgon is really similar to Witness, actually. So like Witness is down here, and you know Witness is one of the main roles. But like, and you know I tried to do something similar with Gorgon, where it's like the skull is the pupil. But like I don't know. I don't know if that's like the best way to portray a Gorgon, but I think it just makes I think it makes sense for what it is, but also like I don't know. It could be better. I don't know what I would do exactly, but I think it could be better. If Superman protects his identity with simple glasses, that mask works. So true. Shout out to all the henchmen out there. Absolutely. Um Up next, we got Gravedigger. Bum bum bum. It's a shovel, otherwise known as Big Spoon. I would put this in like near the top of mid. It's a shovel. It's a pretty boring shape. I wanted to add some like dirt to it, but it kind of made it look like not a shovel, which is weird. So I removed the dirt from the end of the shovel, and now it's just like a normal shovel. It's a shovel. It's in mid. Uh so we got two shieldy type roles. Guardian is probably my less favorite of the shields. I think like it could be better. Probably like here, I would say. I don't know. It doesn't look like a very realistic shield, I guess. I don't know. Like I didn't really design it off of any particular shield, so it kind of just looks like generic shield that doesn't really belong anywhere. It's a bit weirdly shaped. It could be better. It could be better. Ugh. And he's like, take a drink of something or something. uh, yeah. So, okay, we have a lot of these like blade type rolls where there's this line down the middle. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't this look really similar to where's the beast down here? Like, I feel like that could be better. You know? Like, I feel like they both could be better for like almost the same reason. Whereas like this one doesn't quite accurately portray a claw. This one doesn't quite accurately portray a scythe. I'm glad you like Guardian Sai. I appreciate that. Harvester is the other scythe. Coincidentally, alphabetically, both scythes end up right next to each other. I like the Harvester's scythe way better. The perspective, the shape. This is like a sickle, I guess, more like a sickle scythe, but it's still scythe. This is way up here. I'd put that like way up here. Harvester, really cool. The blade curves a bit too much. Yeah, I agree. For this one, yeah, that one curves a bit too much. Maybe a little bit too much. But I kind of want it to be like, you know, a deathly scythe, like a supernatural scythe, not a realistic one. Whereas this one is way more realistic as like a sickle. And I think it turned out way better because of it. And with the perspective and everything too, like that turned out really good. Yeah. I need to like take a drink of something for real, for real. I'm like thirsty. Do, 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 do. Up next is Haunter. Haunter is up next. I really like the music box. And yeah, you know what? Say it now. You know, the puppet music box. You wind the music box, it does the little music box noise. Like it has like the music box sound. That's what it sounds like. I think it turned out really well. It looks like, you know, a jack in the box almost. Like you could wind it up and something would pop out the top, like it's made out of tin or something. I don't know. I think it turned out pretty well. But yeah, it plays a song. I've kind of been wanting to make that song, honestly, the song that it plays, because it uses like the music box sound. I kind of want to make that song, but I also don't quite have a good vision for it yet. So I don't know. Maybe sometime in the future I will make that song. Hero. Hero is pretty darn good. I'd put Hero like up here probably. Two guns. What's better than one gun? Two guns. Two guns, baby. I don't know. It's like a movie poster almost. You got two guns that are like mirrored on either side. And the bullets are there too. That's pretty cool. The bullets are there. And it has the circle for a super roll. Yeah, I'd put that in oh yes. I like the gun shape too. It's pretty unique compared to the other guns. Historian. Historian is mid here. I mean, it looks like a book, but like I couldn't get the page texture in there. I couldn't get that page texture in there, even though I wanted the page texture. It just didn't look right. I don't know. Two whole guns, so true. Yeah, I tried to like draw lines across and diagonally here, but they just looked really bad, and I couldn't fit that many, so I left it blank. And it looks better for it, but it also just doesn't look as detailed as it could be. It's mid. Hoarder definitely could be better. This is supposed to be like a stack of cards. Actually, it might be even lower. It might be like down here. Yeah. Like hoarder. I don't know. The perspective is a little bit wonky on that one. It could be better. It's a stack of cards. It could be better. Here's one of my favorites. Ah ha 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 ha. Yes, yes. Where shall I put it though? Where shall I put it? Maybe like here. Maybe I just like the brain stuff. You know? Like maybe maybe I like the brain stuff. Um so for those that here's some trivia for the wiki. This design is based off of the Nurlax worm, or whatever it's called, from Plague Inc. Do you remember that? There's that game mode where you could play as the worm. That's also why it's an orange color. But yeah, it's like a thing that attaches to your brain. I don't know. I think it turned out really cool as like a design for the host, where it's like it attaches to the lower part of your brain, and and it can do that to other people too, and it's like a bug. It's not a person, it's like a bug piloting a person. I think that's really cool. It ended up Nurax worm, Nurax worm, however you pronounce it. I think it's cool. I like that idea. I like worm. I like the freaky worm in Plague Inc. from way back when. Hostage. Hostage is pretty good. Oh, nope, I don't want to put it there. Hostage is pretty good. I would put it like... I'd put it like here. It's like jail bars. This is like kind of like a meta icon almost, because it's like turning the icon itself into a jail cell rather than presenting an item or an idea, It's like, oh man, there's actually a room behind there or something. And that's fun. I don't think any other role art does that. So that's pretty cool. I definitely, oh yes. And I like the color. I like purple. Wormatui. How could y'all? That is vile. Huntsman. Huntsman is mid, I would say. I don't know. I mean, like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like it's a good roll art for what it is, but because it's such a basic shape, it's not like there's a lot of detail or I could be that creative with it. I want to like it wasn't going to look like anything different. It's not the most original thing in the world, so like it's mid. It's lemonade. I know you love Huntsman. I understand. It is in mid. I'm sorry. It's just when you compare it to the ones that are above it, I think it makes sense. I don't know. It's lemonade. You're like the opposite of Evan. Evan hates the Huntsman with like a burning passion, but that's because he loves magic and stuff like that. So you're a funny little foil to Evan, honestly. There's only one crosshair. Yeah, there is. If you look very closely behind the bars of the hostage's icon, you can see that there is a black background. So true. Instant beef. It's lemonade. You have instant beef with Evan. That's hilarious. Evan just likes magic users and like magic in general. So when I made Huntsman to counter magic rolls, he was like, I don't like that. In like a petty way, you know. Uh Illusionist. Illusionist is also mid. Even though I really like the role, I just don't think that the symbol is very, you know, it's not very detailed, it's not very inspired. It's mid. It's just a swirly because that's what yeah. Oh, canonically, this is canonical. Add this to the wiki. Illusionist wears glasses, and when they hypnotize someone, they turn into like the hypno swirly glasses with this color, and they go wee 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 wee, and it hypnotizes them. That's real. That's a real thing. That's canon. That's part of the character's design. There you go. Impersonator. Okay, so impersonator is interesting actually. So impersonator is meant to be like a knockoff of the renegade because you can see they're very similar, you know? Like one of them has two spikes and one of them has three spikes. Or no, one of them has two indents and one of them has three indents. It's meant to be just a knockoff of the renegade. So like it's mid, but only because renegade is better. um so the actor doesn't wear a mask, but the illusionist wears swirly glasses. So the illusionist canonically wears the swirly glasses, but they're not always swirly. They're only swirly when the illusionist wants them to be. It's like a magic thing. Um, but the actor doesn't wear a comedy mask, at least not when they're at the mansion. I would say that like maybe I think like they've probably worn a mask or something similar to it in their actual theater performances. I wouldn't say that they would wear one to the mansion because it just doesn't make sense. But it still represents them. The comedy mask still represents them as a character. It's sort of meant to be mid. Yeah, yeah. Impersonators is sort of meant to be mid because Renegades is better and it's meant to be a knockoff of Renegade, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a microphone. Yeah, I like this one because it actually allowed me to use the like crisscross pixel thing, but like it didn't turn out. You know, I mean, it's a microphone. It's pretty mid. I'd put that in mid. Interrogator. I already kind of talked about Interrogator. It's worse than the Anomaly. I'd put this one in mid, probably like down here. Yeah, I already talked about that one a little bit. Jinxed. Jinxed definitely could be better. There we go. Jinxed definitely could be better. It's just 3 stars, you know. I feel like I could have maybe done like the swirly stars, like if you get hit with something in a cartoon and the stars swirl around your head. Maybe I could have done something like that. But instead I just did 3 stars. And it definitely works, but I just think it could be a little bit better. Judge. Judge is pretty darn good. Probably like bottom of oh yes. It's a pretty good gavel. I put it right there. And it has these like these little marks around it. Um just because like it's sort of meant to parallel with the private eye in that sense. So yeah, I guess that's sort of why it's there. Like them, the judge and the private eye, like I don't know, like they're sort of meant to like thematically in roll art go together a little bit. So that's why it has those dots. And here's the killer. Killer is up here. Killer is the OG. Man, what the heck is that ad? Did you I don't know what that ad is all about. So this killer is probably up here. That's one of those rolls that I have had the roll art for it. Like that was the original roll art that I made was the killer, and it was a really high res image. And then I shrunk it down and I edited it and I added the blood splatter and I made it that primary red. It's super iconic. It's like the face of the game. It's one of my favorites for sure. It's up there. I feel like that doesn't need much explanation. Did you know that the little platform a judge's gavel hits is called a sound block? No, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I didn't know that at all. Rat King. I mean, it's rats. I like the rats. Probably here. It's an interesting pattern, like the 4 rats with their tails tied together. It's cool. Yeah, it's fun. I want to like look through I want to look through my physical like cards right now, just because like I feel like the physical card looks a lot better. And maybe that's just me. But I don't know. Sometimes I think that the physical cards look better than like their counterparts, I guess. Like like better than the digital icons, cuz sometimes they look brighter, sometimes they look duller. Yeah. Yeah, also Kingmaker is definitely another reference to Inscription, because I didn't know what a Rat King was until I played Inscription, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing like Rat King stuff everywhere. So it's like, oh yes, Kingmaker. I'll make that into a roll. That makes so much sense. So thanks Inscription for enlightening me. Lawyer. Lawyer is basic and mid. It's a pen. I'm gonna put it. I might put it top of mid actually, because it has more detail than these ones. That's for sure, and that's just my opinion. It's a pen, dark blue. Liar. And like I said earlier, this is my least favorite role generally, but when it comes to art, I think it's pretty good. Pretty good snake. Probably like here. I think it's a pretty good snake. It's not as like you can't see the eyes like this one, but like that's because it has a smaller head, and like you can see like it's a wiggling snake. It has its tongue out because it's lying. It has it's spitting lies at you. What am I even saying, dude? Spitting lies. yeah, like Kingmaker's role definitely looks way better in the physical card. That's just what I think. That's what I think. Locksmith. Locksmith is fun. And what's fun about Locksmith is I actually reverse engineered Locksmith because the cards that I made for Massacre mode were made before I made Locksmith. So I had the 2 key fragment cards already made. So what I did is I fixed the key and I made it I made it into a full key. I like that. It's fun. I'd put that right here. You should do a sequel, but with the music. I should. I definitely should. There's definitely not as much to cover in a video like that, that's for sure. Lost. The name of this one is a Binding of Isaac reference, but it has nothing to do with the Binding of Isaac. Yeah, Lost. It's a compass. It's like an old school compass. Here. It's 2 circles with the pointy things in the middle, you know, and then a 3rd circle. Meh. I shrug. It mid. Oh, same with Lovesick too. Lovesick is just like heart. It's very simple heart. I'd put it like down here. I don't know. I like the heart. I like that it's green, which is different. But I don't know. I think that the heart really... I mean, it fits the Lovesick, obviously. Compass but no map. So true. I'm glad you guys like the music, though. I'm glad you guys like the soundtrack, because, I don't know, I worked a really long time on those. And I'll have to make a tier list of those, too. Lurker. Lurker's fun. You know I like drawing like splat and goopy things in pixel art because it looks really cool. I'd put Lurker way up here, probably like next to the Decayed. It's a tentacle. It's like a Slender Man type tentacle. Like, it doesn't have any like octopus suction cups or anything like that. It's like an evil tentacle or a tendril, like Slenderman has, or like the Reaper from Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, you know, like something like that. Except it's super goopy, kind of like Bendy, or like Bendy in the Ink Machine type goop. Like, it's really dark and like, ooh, that's slimy and it's evil. You know what I mean? It's evil. Maid I like. I like how the dust broom, like the feather duster, turned out. I'd put this in oh yes. Maybe like here. It's a really specific shape. And like portraying feathers in a small scale like that is kind of hard, but I think I kind of pulled it off. I'd put that in oh yes. Lurker, hey, that's me. Yeah, me too sometimes. Sometimes y'all in the Discord talk of like a really long conversation and I'll just read the whole thing. I'm like, haha, that's so cool. Maniac. Maniac is so good. Maniac is up here for sure. Probably like right here. I feel like that's one of the most realistic ones that I've made. The teeth are so fun and the smile is so wicked and it's like dripping and there's the blood splatter too. Really good. Maniacs is really good. Bendy and the Ink Machine mentioned. Yeah, I've never actually played Bendy and the Ink Machine, but I really like the lore and the story and like watching other people play it. Same thing with FNAF. Like, I'm super into FNAF, but I've never played a FNAF game. And I kind of want to play a FNAF game, but also I don't want to get like spooked. But also I don't think I could be spooked by FNAF anymore. I feel like I've numbed myself to it. I don't know. But I've never played a FNAF game, but I love watching people play FNAF. And I've never played Bendy and the Ink Machine, but I love watching people play it. And I love the stories. I love the lore. It's fun. Maniac is good and iconic. I agree. Rude Quartz, did you leave and come back? That's awesome. Oh no, here we go. It's Mannequin. Mannequin, I had to draw a hand and it turned out okay. I had to draw a mannequin hand. And it's like, yeah, alright. uh Mannequin hand, I don't know. I'm not the best at drawing accurate humanoid features. Like any of them. I like drawing faces. Ugh. Hands. Ugh. Like even like things like hair and legs. Like I just like realistic proportions, I just can't do it. It's really hard for me to do. And I feel like that's a common thing, but I feel like there's no excuse for me because I was an art major in college and I took a lot of classes and one of them was about drawing the human figure and I'm still bad at it. So anyway, mannequin hand is in mid. I think it turned out as good as it could have. Marked. Yeah, it's an X. I put it in mid, but also that is what the mark looks like. In lore, that is what the mark actually looks like. So if all the lore people out there, if you're wondering what the marked's mark looks like, it actually is an X. It's an X like that. Yeah. Uh-huh. Masochist. I feel like this is worse than Bleeder because it's just one blood and also it's purple, so it's not like the right color for blood. So it's definitely in mid, but like, it's like really low mid though. It's like down here, you know. I kind of talked about blood a little bit earlier. Massacre. Yup. Massacre's up here. Massacre's going right at the top. He's not the best. Um, but like, yeah, it's probably like here. There's a very strong correlation with like some of my favorite roles and also like how good their icons look. um, like yeah, Massacre. I don't know. I really like the top hat, and Massacre does canonically wear a top hat, and also I'll just confirm this because why not? Massacre's top hat is canonically red. Like it is a red top hat. It's not like a black top hat, and this is just like the icon of it. The top hat is actually red, and it has like the black ribbon on it. That's real. That's real design. I've designed I've designed a few of the characters for like what they would look like in like a canonical sense, and like Massacre is one of the few that I've done that with. And yeah, Massacre has red top hat. Red top hat. The top hat is red. There you go. You're welcome. Matchmaker is pretty boring. I'd say it's like here, right next to Lovesick. It's really boring. Like in comparison to like all these other fun ones up here. Got the heart and the stick and the shape. I don't know. Plot twist this entire time that tier list was based on canon power. You know, I actually thought of doing I thought of doing a like a tier list of canonical power levels for these characters, and maybe I will do that sometime, but not yet. Maybe if you ask me enough, I'll do it. But like that's something that I thought of doing, but like maybe not quite yet. Medic is like bottom of mid. It's a plus. It's the plus symbol. It's like yeah. It's a cross. It's about as basic as it can get. It's mid. It's not like it could be better. It couldn't get much better than that. But yeah, mid. Mercenary's knife is an oh yes for sure. Probably like there. Mercenary's knife isn't actually based on any real world type of knife. But I just thought it would be cool to have like inverted spikes, like not on the back end of the like blade, but actually have them on the blade, almost like a blade catching sword if you've ever seen those. But they're mostly just decorative spikes because they'd be pretty thin right there. Yeah. Mercenary in there. The Mimic! The Mimic! We have the Mimic, and I like the Mimic's icon a lot. Probably like here. That would be my thing. Spilled liquid from a canister, spilled toxic whatever it is. I like it. I like it. It's cool. It's a goopy. I like drawing the slimy whatever on the pixel art. It's good. It's like, what is that mysterious substance? I don't know. Chemical? My weapon is edgy and cool. It has a bunch of random and impractical spikes. So accurate. I'm not Gregory. I'm the Mimic. You're not Gregory. I'm Gregory. Oh, I love the Mimic. The Mimic is so cool. Mimic is funny. Okay. Mindless. I really like the design of the chest that I made for this, actually. I might put Mindless way up here. I like that it's open. I like that the chest is notably empty. It might be in my favorites. I like the amount of detail that's in it. I'd put it here. Yeah. Oopsies, Massacres spilled the uranium. He just has that lying around. I know that, okay, so I know that like I keep saying he when I refer to Massacre, and like canonically any character can be any gender, right? Like that's just how it is. Like any character can be any gender in the Massacards universe or multiverse or whatever you want to call it. Like but like in my head, like when I was first designing Massacre like as a character, I imagined Massacre as a he, as like an older gentleman sort of vibe. Um so like, these people are all theys, but like I have like canon designs and genders for all of the characters, should I ever need to use them. Monster. Monster is really cool. I'm putting Monster in my favorites too, at the bottom of my favorites. This is a classic icon. Like I said, Cannibal's icon used to kind of look like this, but now, I don't know. It's way better now than it ever was, and I really like the teeth. I don't know. It's like really big teeth, like carnivore teeth, like gonna bite you. So yeah, Monster's up there for sure. Uh, we got like a couple of like this is a really boring shape. Gravestone, like boring shape, but like the cracks add a lot to it, I think. I don't know. Like yeah, it's like it's a gravestone. What did you expect? I made a gravestone. It's a classic gravestone. It's going in mid. It's mid. Ah, the mugger. This is a good one. I like the shape. I like the color even though it doesn't fit. But I like the shape. I like how that one turned out. And I like that I was able to end up drawing that at an angle. That stone sure is grave. So true. Yeah, I like how like yeah, it's like brass knuckles or like metal knuckles, whatever material you prefer. But brass knuckles is common. And this is an illegal weapon, by the way. Like you can't have a four-fingered brass knuckles. You can't own that. That's illegal. But not in the Massacards universe. You can own that in the Massacards universe, no problem. Mummy. So this one is, yeah, referring to Egyptian mythology, implying that there is in Egypt or an equivalent of Egypt, ancient Egypt, in the Massacards universe, and that's like the only like real world implicating role that there is. I'm pretty sure. I like it. I'd put it down here. The Ankh, it's called. Oh my gosh, y'all want a mugger mug? The mug? That would be hilarious. I want to do merch, but merch is such a financial risk, you know? I don't know. Maybe I could do a request form for merch, see if people would want it. What donation tier will the mugger mug be at? I don't think there will be any donation tier for any non like YouTube channel or game related things in like a Kickstarter. I doubt it. I don't think there will be like any merch because merch is like a whole extra expense, you know? I'd have to add that extra expense to the funding goal, and I don't want to have to do that. I want the funding goal to like be as cheap as possible. But that's just me. Nightmare. Oh, I love nightmares so much. Nightmare is really high for me. This hand, this hand is way better. I kind of want to put it like right. I want to put it here. It's in third place right now. This hand is way better than the mannequin's hand. Look at that. Look at how good that turned out. It's like really agonizingly posed, and it's like a disembodied hand almost, or like it's reaching like out from the darkness, reaching down. Oh, really cool. Nightmare. Also, the nightmare itself was inspired from the game Lucidity, Six-Sided Nightmares. And I kind of want to make a review of Lucidity at some point because I love Lucidity as a game. But Lucidity has its own lore, and the nightmare was inspired partially by that. So very cool reference there. um, Obsessed. So this is like a little pin with the string around it, and I think this is an oh yes. I'd put it like here. Here. I'd put it here. Yeah, I mean I like the string. It's like it's got the swirl. You know, I like the S. I like adding the curve to things. The S shape. It has occurred frequently. But yeah, the obsessed icon. It's a pin. It's cool. I think it is the perfect amount of detail, I guess. Y'all, man, maybe I'll have to look into merch. Honestly, I'll have to look into merch, see if it would be worth it at all for me to do that. Like, got to figure out what people want. Obviously, I don't think something like a massacre hat would be possible, but a mugger mug would definitely be possible. I could totally do that. Oh, Optomancer. Optomancer is top tier for sure. I'm definitely putting Optomancer really high. Probably like here. Does this one give you Terraria vibes? Because gives me Terraria vibes. Disembodied eye, super cool. Bone King and Cryptid are the strongest roles so far. In the art world, I think they are. Oh yeah, the obsessed is a utility emoji. So true. Yeah, that's a fun coincidence. I like how it's used like, yo, pin this. You gotta pin this. Yeah. Oh, and here's, yeah, I talked about this one earlier too. This is the third envelope roll. And this is the best. This one is the best envelope roll for sure. It's probably up here. I really like the detail of like, oh, there's the massacre seal that's been like ripped off of the center and the envelope's been ripped in half. That's neat. Yeah. um Overseer. Overseer. It's a fancy mirror. I think it's an oh yes. Um Probably like right here. Fun fact, so the name Overseer is actually a reference to a really old Minecraft Let's Play series by Hat Films. It was called An Epic Hat Venture. I don't know if any of you guys have watched that. It's pretty old now. Um, but basically there was a character in there called the Overseer, and it's such a cool name, and like that name fit really well for this role. So yeah, like I just think like I think it's a good name. It's a good fitting name, and it's a reference to Hat Films, The Overseer. If you watched that series before, you'll know what I'm talking about. Patient Zero. Eh. Yeah, Patient Zero is mid. And Patient Zero is like bottom of mid because it's literally just like a copy of the undead symbol, but like with the circle around it. You know, and it's meant to be that way. Like I designed it that way on purpose, but like it's just worse, I think. I mean, the circle adds to it for sure, but yeah, I don't know. Pedestrian's pretty funny. It's mid though. It's right there. It's a watch. Not a very detailed watch either, so it's mid. I didn't forget 22. 22's right here. You guys just don't know what the role is. Yeah, Patient Zero looks way better on the card. I agree with that. And a lot of these roles look way better when they're in their full context of the card. Philanthropist could be better. And the only reason is because that bow on the present doesn't look as good as I want it to. I struggled with that one a little bit. Yeah, the bow could be better on the present, that's for sure. Photographer. This is the Inscription reference. That is like an artistic rendition of Leshy's camera. And that's an oh yeah. Oh yeah, right there. It's an old school like flashy camera. You know, it has the big flash on the side and it like and yeah. That's the kind of camera that it is. So I modeled it after that. But yeah, a very solid Leshy reference with the artwork there. Physicist. Physicist is like in could be better probably. It's one of the most basic ones that there is. You don't have to smile. Oh yeah, what's my voice that I do for Leshy's? You don't have to smile. You don't have to smile. I love Leshy so much. He's my favorite character in that game. Hello, your Uno Amalgam series has been amazing. You're going to Japan in the next one. Yeah, I absolutely am. I'm glad you're enjoying the series. Yeah, look forward to that premiere tomorrow. That'll be fun. The card art looks so awesome. Love your style. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Pixel art is my favorite and also my most skilled art style that I'm capable of. Geez, since when were you such a good VA? I really appreciate when people say that I'm good at voice acting because, like, I don't know, I feel like I do pretty good voices. And that's why I want to do a playthrough of Undertale because, like, Undertale has some of my favorite character voices in it where it's, you know, like you can I can do like all of the male voices really well, I feel like. Howdy, I'm Flowey. Flowey the flower. Welcome to the underground. I don't know all of Flowey's lines by heart, but you know what I mean? Howdy. He's got the high voice. You got Sans. You got Sans Undertale. I kind of want to make him sound like Patrick a little bit, but like not quite like Patrick. I don't know, because that's why I feel like his voice is. And then Papyrus. The great Papyrus has devised a very good puzzle for you, I promise. It's better than the last one. Believe me. Papyrus and what are the other characters? Asgore. Asgore has the really low noble voice. Oh, human. I didn't see you there behind me. I'm dum-de-dum, just watering my flowers. Say that's a wonderful idea, like Flowey. That's a wonderful idea. uh, I love Flowey's voice. It's really fun to do. Good vocal range. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, but yeah, that's how I imagined Leshy's voice. That was the other thing. Yeah, like Leshy's like really low, really gruff. You don't have to smile. It was a good deck. You did well. You know, like he's like a bit of a somber guy. Anyway, moving on. We're off track here. Pickpocket is mid. Boom. Poltergeist mid. I'd probably put it like here. I like voicing every single skeleton character in any media like Skeletor from He-Man, except for Sans. That's so based of you, honestly. What did I come into? Amazing voice acting? Aw, thanks. I appreciate it. Sorry, we had a little bit of a voice acting tangent. Um, what inspired you to create this card game, and what inspires you to create all of the different cards? Um, yeah, like I mean, like all of these cards have different inspirations from them, but like I would say the main inspiration is other hidden role games and me just wanting to make my own. Um, when I'm inspired to make games, I make games that I would want to play. Like I don't make games like I don't know. I don't make games like because I want to make games, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but I make games because I want to like have a game in the world that I want to play, and like no one else can make the game that I want to play. So I'm going to make it, and here's what I'm doing. And that's why Massacards exists, and that's why the Uno Amalgam exists too. That's why Chemicards exists, honestly. And there's a couple of other things where it's like yeah, and like I expand other games. I like make my own DLC and expansions for games that I love because no one else will, you know? Like that's the kind of stuff that I do. Flowey has a voice clip from McDonald's commercial. Oh yeah, that's totally true. Um yeah. It reminds me of that too, honestly. In Undertale Yellow, it was really cool when they had to do Flowey's voice, but it wasn't the McDonald's commercial because you know the McDonald's commercial it says that's a wonderful idea. It's Ronald McDonald saying it's a wonderful idea, and then like you know Toby just changed that so it's Flowey. That's a wonderful idea. It's like a really high, like bit crushed voice, and then in Undertale Yellow they had to do that but for a different line, and it's like the what would you like to do? What would you like to do? It's a really high voice. I love that. I love how they did that. Anyway, it's made for yourself but available for others. Absolutely right. I make games for myself, but I want other people to play them because if I know that if I can have fun with them, other people can too, you know? And I would, you know, I would love if people play my games. Prankster, mid, speed running. No. Um Private Eye is actually really good. I mean Private Eye is a classic too. I don't think Private Eye is in my favorites. I think it's like an oh yes. I don't think it's in my favorites though, and there's a reason for that which I'll get to later. um oh yeah. Sundial. You know, like you know, when you have to draw a sundial from the perspective, it's a little bit difficult. I had put this like top of mid, like right here. I like the perspective. I like that the shadow is not the dark space; it's the filled in space. I kind of inverted that. That's pretty fun. uh, Protector. Protector is probably bottom of oh yes. I mean, I like it, but I like Archivist way more when it comes to glasses ones. I talked about that one a little bit too already. Pseudo Killer is like near the top of oh yes for sure. Probably like here. It's fun. It's like the headband, you know, a headband of the knife going through your head. It's fun. I assume that that was also from the same commercial. Oh yeah, no, the what would you like to do? I'm pretty sure that's not from the same commercial because I think I remember watching that whole commercial and like, you know, he says that's a wonderful idea, but I don't remember him saying, "What would you like to do?" I don't remember that. I love the fact that this game has so many roles. This is the largest amount of roles I have ever seen in a hidden role game. Good. That's what I wanted. I wanted this game to have so many roles that like hidden role game fans would like never be satisfied like with the amount of games that they play because they wouldn't be able to experience the full thing. I wanted my game to be that big, I guess. And to my knowledge, there's only one game that has more roles than mine, but I don't even know if it's a game or if it's like a set of tarot cards or something. It has like 1,000 rolls or something. I can't remember what it was called, but I don't care. I don't know what it is. So, yeah. Psychic. I really like Psychic's candle. It's like the old school. You hold it on the wax, like it's a wax candle, but you hold it on like the brass plate, or you know. I like that design a lot. I put it like right there. You guys can't see this, but I just got a Steam notification that Bailey is playing Warhammer something on Steam. I don't know. That's pretty funny. Hi, Bailey, if you're watching this. Oh, yes, the Puppeteer. Puppeteer is probably in mid. Just because there's a better version of like puppet aesthetic stuff, you know? I mean, like, I like how this looks because it's like, you know, the two boards and the strings that hold up the puppet. But I don't know. I think the ventriloquist is a little bit better. Reborn. Reborn is one of my favorites. It's like bottom of one of my favorites, but I really like the feather. I really liked how it turned out. This is one of the first like redesigned roll icons that I made in the new pixel art style, and I just couldn't be happier with how it looks. It looks like a feather silhouette. It's perfect. I think it turned out good. Recruiter could be better though. Recruiter could be better. You know, it's a megaphone, but I didn't even add a trigger to the megaphone. Like, what was I thinking? Renegade, otherwise known as the cooler impersonator in this case. Renegade is probably like right here. Overshadowed by the killer's knife, I think. But that's me. Repentant. Repentant has a really cool dagger design. It's not like a knife, it's like a ceremonial type dagger, and I really like it, actually. I really like the detail on it. I'd put it here. Restless Spiderweb. Purple Spiderweb. Is that a Muffet reference? No, not originally, but coincidentally, yes. I like it. It's basic, like as a design, but because it's a web. But I'm gonna put it really high, actually. Probably like here in my favorites. It's in my favorites. Ringer, mid. It's right here, actually. Yeah, that's perfect. Really basic bell shape. Still only have. Oh no, I can't. I can't read that because the little emoji icon is in the way. Oh, it still only have two rolls in the don't like tier. Yeah, that's true. I only have two rolls here. I like I said, I didn't think there would be many there that I actually don't like that much. But yeah, there we go. Ringmaster, really fun role like to play as, but I would think they're up here in like the oh yes, it's a pretty good whip. Do any of you guys know how to crack a whip like in real life? Because I know how to crack a whip in real life. I dressed up as Indiana Jones for Halloween one year, and I got a real whip. Like, not a whip that could do damage, but like like a prop whip that could still crack like a real whip. Um, yeah, and I know how to crack a whip because of that. I learned how to crack a whip. So if you know how to crack a whip, you're just as cool as Indiana Jones and possibly me. Ripper. Ripper is fun. Pair of scissors. I'd put that here. Like really, really high up. Such a brutal way of stabbing someone with a pair of scissors. No, cracking a whip isn't that hard to do, but just not a lot of people have ever had the opportunity to learn how to do it, And not a lot of people own a whip, like a real whip. So, I don't know, it just seems like a pretty obscure skill. Um, okay, rival. Rival definitely could be better. The skull icon is just not as good as I would want it to be. I don't know. I feel like the skull icon could be a bit better. I mean, especially when you compare it to the Gorgons, which is right next to it. I feel like that skull icon would have worked a lot better there. I didn't know it was like a learned skill. I just kind of assumed it was intuitive. Well, if you want to like crack a whip in the air and like if you want to crack the whip like all over the place and stuff, that's a skill, I would say. Royalty. Royalty's a classic. Royalty I would put really high. It's a unique crown design that I had to dream up because I didn't want it to be based off of any real crown. Um but like yeah, I mean like it's a crown. You can tell it's a crown. It looks like a crown, but yeah, it's an original crown design. But the royalty's crown is completely overshadowed by the Bone King's crown. So it's tough. um yes, Saboteur bear trap icon. I really like. I'm putting it there. That's a really realistic one too. That's a pretty realistic bear trap silhouette. I feel like I did a pretty good job capturing bear trap shape with that. Like the pedal and like you step on it, bear trap. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks like a real bear trap. That's fun. Yeah, sadist. So this is just a bullet, just straight up a bullet. And I think it's kind of mid for that, just because I prefer the guns. I prefer the guns over the bullet. But it's an interesting looking bullet. It kind of gives you a bit more of a zoomed in look on like what the bullets of this universe look like. They look very similar to real bullets, but yeah, that's a Massacards universe bullet. Scholar. Yeah, I'd put this in mid. Basic shapes, not that interesting, but the tassel really helps it. Not being it could be better. And it's a basic shape for a hat, so it's like, well, what else are you gonna do? Okay. Scientist. Once again, we have this trend of like what roles do I like and what roles have ended up at the top of the tier list, with a few exceptions, obviously. Like Bone King and Cryptid aren't like my favorite roles, but they are at the top right now. But yeah, Scientist. Mm-hmm. We got we got the chemicals, we got the goopy, we got the bubbles, we got the science equipment. Those are all things that I love. It's there. The color is great, and I love the role too, but that doesn't have anything to do with this tier list. I just think that that's really good. I like it. Secretary. Secretary is probably in mid, like around here. Like, it's a manila envelope. It's a pretty basic shape. So there wasn't really much detail that I could add there, but it's not very exciting. I feel like I've said that about a lot of roles. Bias spotted. Absolutely. This is a tier list of personal opinion rankings. Shadow. This is like a snow globe type thing, or like a fortune teller orb, but it kind of looks like a snow globe with all the sparklies in it. But it's meant to be space, not snow. I'd put this in oh yes, but probably low oh yes, like maybe like here. I think the color is pretty fitting for it as well. Why does it look like it tastes vanilla? It does. It doesn't. It doesn't. I promise you. Shapeshifter. Shapeshifter is pretty fun. So it's like a scratch mark or a claw mark. I'd put that one really high up here. It's like, yeah, I grew claws and took a swipe at you. Shapeshifter is a really fun character in general. I really like Shapeshifter in lore. Oh boy, we're getting there. We have we only have a few left. We've been going for 3 hours, but it's fine. We're going. The silent. So this is a pretty anatomically correct foot. I'd put it at like bottom of oh yes. I'm proud with the anatomic correctness of the foot. And then the slaughterer. This is a different type of knife. So this is like I can't remember the actual name of the type of knife. But yeah, it's a different type of knife. It's meant for slaughtering and butchering animals and stuff like that. Or like cutting into animals. I would put this in oh yes. Probably like about here. Because it's pretty basic, but it has that nice little curve at the top of the blade, which is pretty good. Give it up for 3 hours, so true. I have a show about characters doing challenges and small games in order to win a prize. I was wondering if you would be okay if I made a murder mystery one based loosely off of the Massacards rule set. Yeah, go for it. I don't care. I think you should make a tier list based on the taste of the cards. They would all taste the same. I hate to break it to you. More support and Kickstarter when. Thank you, TM Gaming, for the $2. I really appreciate it. So, right now, I'll just say I've been doing a lot of thinking about the Kickstarter. And I've been doing a lot of research into trying to reduce the cost of how much it would cost to produce Massacards. Because right now, it would cost a lot, like far too much. And I believe in my community. I believe in you guys. I believe that we could reach a goal. But 60 grand is far too much, I think. I need to lower that goal as much as I can before I do a Kickstarter. And once I get to that point, I'll probably make an update video and stuff like that. But before any of that happens, I need to finish fixing the roll intro videos because I'm still behind on those and I haven't had a lot of time on my hands recently. And also, I do want to do some other Massacards type videos that are completely different. I got to finish the game mode series too, obviously, but I want to do some other Massacards type videos. I just need to get all of this stuff going, you know, and then Kickstarter. I want to do it. I really do. And I believe that us as a community, we could totally meet the goal. We could totally meet the goal that I would set. I just need to get that. I really need to get that goal as low as possible because 60 grand does seem like quite a stretch right now. I'm going to be honest. I want to get that lower and I don't want you guys to like feel like your money isn't worth it. So give me some more time and I'll update you on that hopefully this year. Smith is pretty boring. I'd put Smith down here with the other like boring-ish type shapes. Basic smithing hammer. I don't know. It's just a hammer. Yes, smuggler over here, which I forgot the name of earlier. I think is pretty good, but it's a rope. You know, like it's not as the most exciting like thing, but I really like how that artwork turned out. I think it turned out pretty darn good for a rope. Like I like how that knot is there. I could see it working, but it's good to be cautious. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I mostly want to make it fair for you guys. you know? Like I want you guys to get your money's worth out of my game because like I don't know, like even like I'd probably have to make a tier that's like or like a reward tier that is a copy of the game itself. Um but I don't know how much I would want to have to charge for that, and I really don't want to charge too much, but I feel like I might have to just because of how all of the money and stuff is working. So if I can keep that goal as low as possible, um, yeah. If I can make the original goal as low as possible, then it would really help people who want to buy the game straight up as a reward tier, but it would also help me with production because the lower I can get the price, the cheaper I could potentially make the game. I could make the game cheaper for you. Yeah. If I had 60 grand lying around, I would definitely pay for the entire Kickstarter. Unfortunately, I don't have anywhere near that much money. You and me both, Rude Quartz. I appreciate your support. Card printing is costly, absolutely. Fact of life, unfortunately. Snitch. Snitch is another boring shape. Put that there. Sorcerer, though, is a less boring shape. I'd put that like right here. So Soulbender, this is another soul type role. I actually really like this. This particular soul design was based off of the anime Soul Eater. You know, have you guys watched Soul Eater? I really liked Soul Eater. My AJ made me watch Soul Eater, recommended it to me, and then just straight up showed it to me. I'm like, dang, this is pretty good. I like weapons, and I like some anime. So yeah, this symbol is kind of inspired by Soul Eater a little bit. Spectre. Spectre is fun. I think Spectre's like, oh yes, like right here. Chain, broken chain, fun. I like the idea of like a broken chain. Shipping is going to kill me because I live in Australia. I wouldn't worry about shipping as much. Like, try and put shipping out of your mind. Like, obviously, shipping to Australia will be a lot more expensive than shipping inside the US. But like if like, you know, I produce all these copies of Massacards, I'd probably run a store through Etsy, and Etsy is really good about getting you the cheapest shipping possible. Like, I've had experience with them, and they have really good they have a really good like record of like giving you the cheapest shipping price, and I've used that before, and I know that it's really good for international buyers, even though, you know, it's still obviously going to be expensive, like more expensive than shipping inside the country, but it'll be better than if it was just me shipping it to you straight up, because they would be like $100 or something dumb like that. If there is a tier to straight up buy the game, I would give $100. I appreciate that so much. Soul Eater is an ancient memory for me. So true. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched it too. Soul Eater is my favorite anime? That's so cool, Sai. It's one of my favorites too, honestly. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely up there. Spellcaster. Spellcaster is kind of basic, but in a fun way. I like the little sparkles that go bing, 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 bing. They make that sound. Bing, 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 bing. Finally, shipping won't be 2 times the product price. If I can help it, it won't be. I promise you. I'll do my best to make shipping internationally and shipping in general as cheap as possible. If I could do free shipping, I would, but I definitely cannot afford that. I'm sorry. I would if I could, though. Spy. It's the TF2 reference. Welcome to the TF2 reference. It's the kunai knife. This is a kunai type knife. Spy, Team Fortress 2. Spy from Team Fortress 2 reference. Ha ha ha. So, your deadly skill is jogging? Mine is murdering people. You know, classic spy lines. Yeah, that's oh yes for me. Stalker. I really like the perspective on Stalker with these binoculars. I'd put that here. I put it right here. I like the perspective. It's like, oh yeah, it's like zooming in, like tactical binocular zoom in. Awooga. The Starved. Oh, I like the Starved too, and I like the Starved. It's probably up here for a lot of the same reasons I like the Alchemist, or it's like liquid in transparent container. Boom. I think it goes there. I really like it. The stomach, the half empty stomach, really cool. Summoned. I like the Pretty Rock. Once again, I like the Pretty Rock. I think for a lot of the same reasons, I'm gonna put it right next to Acolyte. I think it's better. Actually, I think Summoned is better. I like the sharper crystal. It's fun. I was a huge Lego Power Miners fan back in the day. I really like rocks that are angled like that. They're fun. My fiance and I are so excited for your card game. He's been watching your videos for a long time. I have been trying to catch up and watch everything too. We believe in you. You got this. Wahoo. Thank you so much, Ivory Ice. that is that is very kind of you to say. It really warms my heart. I really, you know, it's my dream. It is my dream to get this game as well as any of the other games I make in the future like out to people so that they can play them. I'm glad that you're excited. I'm doing everything I can to make it happen. Like I work on it every day, trust me. Hopefully one day we'll get there. I'm working on it. Survivor. Survivor is pretty darn good. I really like this gun design. It's not as good as the privatized design, but it's also it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good in my opinion. I'd probably put it like maybe here actually. Yeah, that one looks like a shotgun. You know, it looks like a shotgun. But I've gone over this before. But the guns in the Massacards universe work a bit differently than in the real world. So while this silhouette may look like a shotgun, if I were to like draw a picture of it, it would look very not like a shotgun. It would look very different, even though it has the same shape. The Suspicious. This is cool. Suspicious is cool because it's a combination of the Fool and the Witness. I don't think it's better than the Fool though because it doesn't have like the text or anything like that. But it's a cool design of like the eyeball wearing the hat. You know what I mean? It's fun. It's fun. Fun roll, but it loses the haha points. It loses the haha hee hee hoo hoo points. Swindler. It's like a mobster type hat, you know? I kind of want to put it up here, like right here. It's hard to get that shape, but I think I captured that shape of a hat pretty well. It's more like a blunderbuss. Um, I don't know if I wouldn't call it like a blunderbuss. I don't know. Blunderbusses are pretty extreme when it comes to like I don't know recoil and stuff like that. I don't think the Survivor's gun has that downside. The Jonkler hits the gritty and dies. Oh, I love the Arkham series so much. Arkham series is one of my favorite games, like all of them. Sycophant, or as I like to say, the Sycophant. This is one of the symbol type ones, and there's a few symbol type ones in this game, but like the Warper down here. Yeah, I think Sycophant is pretty fun as a symbol. Like it's not an object or a real world thing; it's a symbol, and I like it for what it is. I think it's here in OES. Tactician is the rook chess piece. I would say it's like top, like very top of mid. I would say it's like the very top of mid because it's basic. You know what it is, but there's not much interpretation there. You know, not much artistic liberties taken there. Seems like a sawed-off shotgun. That's a bit more accurate, I would say. I don't know. In general, the guns function very differently when compared to their real world counterparts. So it's kind of hard to explain, but maybe one day I'll make a video on that or something. Telepath. Telepath is like mid to me only because like it's three eyes and I know that that's cool and whatever, but like they're just three witness eyes stacked up, you know? And like witness is probably higher than that just because it was the OG, the original, you know? But thief is like here, here. It's not a very realistic padlock, is it? I mean, I tried to convey that it was a padlock with the big lock in the middle there, but it's not quite as real world accurate as it could be. But I like that it's like breaking, like you're breaking the metal itself to break it. So like it's near the top of mid. The survivor's ability is named shotgun, so he has a shotgun. Yeah, that's true. Like I mean, you call it a shotgun because that's like the real world equivalent, you know. I'm not going to call it something that doesn't really make sense to like someone who's playing the game physically, you know what I mean? I don't know. I called it shotgun in that one. Time Walker. Time Walker is pretty fun. Probably top tier, honestly. The pocket watch dangling from the chain. It's a classic story. I like it a lot. It's just one of my favorites, and that's one of the newest roles too. It's pretty cool. 22 is the mid of mid. We can't even see it. It's right. Yeah, it's so true. It's right here. That's funny. Tunneler. Tunneler's pretty fun. I like the shape of the helmet. It's like a really old school helmet. And I like the green too. Kind of a reference to Inscription again, the color, because it's like the Prospector's fog color or whatever. I think it belongs right there. Old school miner hat. I think it's cool. I like props and hats like that. I like going to antique shops and seeing hats like this and thinking, man, I want to buy that for like a costume or something. And then I go, I look at the price and it's like $123. And it's like, dang, I didn't realize that this old beaten up miner hat was like made out of pure silver or something. I don't know. Anyway, classic undead. Classic undead is definitely higher than patient zero, that's for sure. Patient zero is down here in mid, but I think that it's in oh yes. The biohazard symbol is very cool. It's like such a cool symbol. Like whoever designed the original biohazard symbol did not have to go that hard. They really made like a really cool symbol for something that's like ooh, danger toxic. Out of curiosity, oh shoot, your message is like blocked. Would you change to make the cards art more realistic? Um, no, I don't want to change any of these arts. I think they're all finalized and good, and they're right where I want them to be. Um, there are some that are like, oh well, I feel like I could do better or like I don't like it, but it's like I'm done. I'm not gonna go back. Like I'm not going back and touching these again. Like I finished these so long ago. They're done to me. You know, project over. Oh my gosh, it's lemonade. Thank you for the $2. Fun fact: this is roughly 1.32 US dollars. Oh, it's 2 Australian dollars, of course. That's hilarious. Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it. 2 Australian dollars. It's so strange to me that Australia has like, you know, dollars, but like they're different. That's fun. All of the card art is final. Like, period. Like, none of the card art is changing. All of the cards are finalized. The, like, you know, some I like more than others, though. Usurper. Usurper is very good. I think Usurper belongs right up here. Having a chain or like a rope in such a small scale is like pretty hard to do, honestly. And having like be it attached to a hook, it's different. It's difficult to do, but I feel like I pulled it off pretty well. And once again, the S curve of the bendy thing comes back. That's fun. Vandal. Vandal is mid. Vandal is like here, I would say. Just because like there's not a lot of detail on the can. I could have put more detail on the can, I think, but I like the spray a lot. The spray of the paint. That's fun. um here's yeah, so Vengeful here is going to be the third I don't like it. So it's like a butcher's knife, right? But I don't know, I just there's something about it. Like it seems like maybe it's too thick or something, but I just couldn't get that shape right. I couldn't get that shape right. I like I don't know. I looked at a real cleaver for like a long time and I just couldn't get that shape right. Like it still looks like a cleaver. You can tell it's a cleaver, but I just think there's something a little bit off about it and I can't put my finger on it. I think that's the last I don't like it. Have you ever heard of IBX Toy Cat? Yes, I have. I've watched a couple of IBX Toy Cat's videos a long time ago, uh, but I haven't watched them in quite some time actually. Yeah, I mean, like they have good content. And I don't know. I prefer other Minecraft YouTubers, I guess. Um, the kitchen set is complete. So true. Yeah, this is the meat cleaver, the cleaver knife. All the kitchen stuff finally in. Okay, ventriloquist is really good. Ventriloquist turned out so fun. Um, Probably here. See, I'm good at drawing like stylized faces. Like this is not a real human face, this is a dummy face, so it looks way awesome and good and fun. The blush and like the mouth and the bow tie and the fake looking hair and the weird like eye like lids on the eyeballs. It's very wooden. It looks very fake, and that's perfect. That's what I wanted. I think it turned out really well. I think that the handle might be a little thick. Yeah, you're probably right. Vengeful's handle might be a little bit thick. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Victim. Victim is here. So someone in the YouTube comments thought that these were shotgun shells. They are not shotgun shells. These are chalk pieces. Like when you have a dead body, like you draw the chalk outline of where their body was for a crime scene investigation. This is chalk. And I think it's like probably like bottom of oh yes. I really like the streaks and stuff. Yeah, like I like the streaks. I like the cracks in the chalk. Like you're actively drawing with it. I think that's fun. I think it turned out pretty good. Bro, your voice here sounds like Technoblade. Rest in peace. I'll take that as a very high compliment. Rest in peace, Technoblade. I really loved his videos before he died. I miss him every day. Yeah, but I'll take that as a compliment for sure. Okay, so here's what I was talking about earlier when I said that the Private Eye's gun is like not in top tier. That's because Vigilante's gun is in top tier. I really like the revolver design a lot more than the silenced pistol design that I had here. Probably like here. That's where I would put it. Survivalist. Boom. I think I did a really solid job of recreating that like classic revolver shape. I don't know, it's a really good silhouette of a revolver. I think it turned out really good. Also, like, the orange yellow color, a classic. Really good. Wanderer. Wanderer is mid. It's a backpack. I probably put it like here, actually. It's like a duffel bag slash backpack thing, like one of those heavy duty like camping backpacks. You know what I mean? Um, it's I. It could have probably had more lines, but yeah. Warlock. Warlock is oh yes, but like really low oh yes for me because I wanted to add more detail to this, but because the circle is there, like the circle like limits the space of the design even more. So like it looks pretty small. You know, it could have been bigger if the circle wasn't there. It doesn't bother me too much, but it could have been better. Just a little bit better. I still really like how it turned out though. um so Warper, this is another symbol type one. I would put it lower than Sycophant, but I would also have it like here. I'd have it here. I really like Warper because it's like a W for Warper, and then it flips to M, and you know M is just like the most important letter in the Massacards universe. But yeah, it's cool how it's like it inverts on itself. It's fun. That's what the Warper's symbol is all about. It's meant to be sort of like runic in design, similar to Sycophant. Are you even a warlock if you aren't locking people in war? You have such a point there. I don't know if it's a good point or a bad point, but it sure is a point. Warrior, we're getting to the end, guys. We're almost there, I promise. Warrior is mid. It's like here. I think the shield turned out good. I think the sword could have maybe just been a little bit more detailed. You have it set to M for mini when it should have been set to W for Wumbo. I love that bit so much. It's so funny. Classic SpongeBob. It's good. Watch the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob and then stop. Wealthy. Wealthy is like bottom of mid. Very basic coin design. It's you know, it's got the money symbol on it. Okay, sure. Weary. Weary is like high mid or no mid mid. Mid I'd put it there because it's just 3 Z's. I feel similarly like to this one that I do the antagonizer, but this one looks like it has a font at least, so I like that one more. uh oh yes, widow. Widow. Um, like it's 2 rings and they're broken. It's a really basic design. I'd probably put it here. Like I like the symbolism there. Weary is my spirit animal. So true. Me too. Me too. Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor's top tier for sure. The stylized skull is really fun. I almost want to put it like here. I like the crack in the skull, the shape of the cheekbones and teeth and the eyes and the nose. It's fun. It's like a fun little cartoony skull, but it's also like a skull. It's a human skull. Like, oh no. Someone died. Witness. Yeah, Witness is like top of mid. Very top of mid. It's a basic design, but it's an iconic design. And like it's probably the weakest of like the classic designs, but yeah, very top of mid. I wouldn't change anything about it though. That's one thing that's like I wouldn't change it, but there are some that are just way better than it. So then we got Wrecker. This is just a bomb, straight up. Very similar to like Demolisher in a way. You know, but I like the cartoony like round bomb way better. And I like the thicker fuse with the rope. I like that way more. But they're very similar. They both have like pros and cons to both of them. Mountain Dew Massacard is like an energetic freebie card. What are you talking about? We got one more. It's the Zombologist. Zombology, that's a reference to Plants vs Zombies. That's a Plants vs Zombies reference to the mini game from PVZ1. But the Zombologist icon, it's an OES, I think. Well, it's really high OES. I'd put it like here. No, I'd put it here. Okay. We did it, chat. We did it. We've covered all of the roles. So, in the end, I guess nothing surpassed Bone King, which I guess isn't that surprising to me, but also like, man, I don't know. It's a newer role. It's one of the newest roles, the Bone King. So like to see that its role art has made it to the top, it's not that surprising, I guess. Like, good for Bone King. Good for Bone King for being super cool and unique in bones. Um, but yeah, then we got Cryptid, Nightmare. This top row is just stacked. It's so good. Nightmare, Scientist, Killer, Deity of Death, Massacre, Alchemist, Starved, Harvester, and Host. These are the big ones. And I mean, all of the ones in my favorites are my favorites, but these top like 10-ish here, peak. And yeah, at the very bottom we have Blighted. Blighted is ugly in my opinion, but there's not much I can do about a microscopic organism design type thing, you know what I mean? I'll be sure to save this and put it on the Discord server so people can look at it like in full detail in their own time later. But that's what I wanted to do tonight, and we've been streaming for probably almost 4 hours now. But this was really fun. This was really fun to talk to you guys and do this tier list. I've been wanting to do this tier list ever since I saw someone post something similar in the Discord. I can't remember who that was right now. Sorry, haha. I do this at the end of I do this at the end of all of my streams. But is there anything like anyone else wants to ask, or like anyone else wants to like ask me or talk about like before we're done for the night? Because otherwise, I will just call it here. I'll give you guys a second to type stuff out if you want to type stuff out. In the meantime, I'm going to put my copy of Massacards Grandest Party Edition back in its box. The Massacards box is actually pretty heavy for how big it is. Like, it's not that big of a box, but man, it's got some weight behind it. I really love the whole idea, if the killer finds out who the witness is, they win. Yeah, it's a fun game mechanic, and it really keeps things interesting socially, which is, the point. How do you feel about people inventing their own lore? For Massacards, go for it. I mean, like, obviously, it's like any other, like, fan type thing, where, like, you can do whatever you want when it comes to lore and stuff like that. And obviously you don't have the full picture. Like, you're not in my brain. You don't know all of the lore. So you don't know if things contradict the lore or anything like that. But I don't mind people making their own lore, especially if they're making custom roles and stuff like that. Like, go for it. Yeah, just have fun. Have you heard of the game Nausea? No, I have not. Good stream. Also subscribe to him. Thank you, Michael. What program did you use for the pixel art? I used a free program. That's a browser program. It's called Piskel. Piskel. Yeah, it's a really basic pixel art program, and it does everything you would ever need it to do, but it's not very fancy because it's a browser program. And I use that one for all of my sprite artwork because I don't want to pay for anything. And I don't want to learn how to use GIMP. I'm stubborn with GIMP. I don't care about GIMP. So I use Piskel. It's meant for pixel art. It's a good program. Um, yeah, but it's just not the most advanced out there. Will Massacards have like a non-physical type version? Probably not. The only okay, so I've been thinking about this, and I'm thinking like if Massacards is successful physically, then I would be a lot more willing to put it on like a tabletop sim workshop thing or something like that. Um, I don't know. I'm really protective of my baby of my baby Massacards. I don't know. I put 10 years of work into it, and I really don't want people to just take the files and like sell them or produce them on their own for cheaper or whatever, or like produce like bootleg Massacards stuff. Like I don't want that to happen because I have put my heart and soul into this game, and it would suck if it just got stolen immediately. But if Massacards was successful physically, like via Kickstarter or something like that, and like the physical copies are already out, like it's only a matter of time before people photo scan that stuff anyway. So it's like, why not just put it on Tabletop Sim or things like that? I'd be more willing to do that, is what I mean. I hope that answers your question. So there's a chance. I guess there's a chance in the future, like the far future, I guess, like if Massacards is physically successful, there's a chance I will make a digital something about it. It probably will just be a tabletop sim workshop thing though, because I can't code, and I know that Evan can code, but he's got his hands tied with all of his stuff that he's doing. He's got his own games that he's working on. I'm not gonna ask him to make another game for me. No, I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate y'all watching this. Um, Thank you very much. And I know I say this every time, but I want to do more streams, and I meant to do more streams. I wanted to do a stream last week, but my job just really kicked the crap out of me. It really knocked all of my energy away. So yeah, I had to take a week there. So yeah, hopefully more streams very soon. And tomorrow, remember, tomorrow is the premiere of the next Uno episode. It's like a 29-minute video, so it's a longer one. Be sure to tune in for the premiere if you can. If you can't, that's totally fine. The video will be, it'll be up at like 5 p.m. U.S. Central Time tomorrow. Yeah, thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic night. I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you.